welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard. The best television show not on television, man. Shout out to everybody pulling up early in the building. We are here for the Week 18 edition of Awthentik and The Beard preview and predictions, man. We got a lot going on tonight's show, man. We're going to keep it very lighthearted, very fun with the matchup between the Washington football team and the New York Giants. Can't forget about the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to be welcoming the Dallas Cowboys to Philly here on a game that's actually been flexed to Saturday night, man. That should be really interesting, man, especially with the lacking of Thursday night football. I was just on the homie Miz's channel just chopping it up about the New York Giants just a couple of seconds ago, man. Appreciate him for letting me pull up. And also last night at 7 p.m. I was on with Ref the District, a Washington football team podcast here in Washington, D.C., man. Had a great time with the fellas. We chopped it up, talked everything Washington, New York Giants, talked about this matchup here on Sunday. Was a awesome show, man. I definitely recommend y'all go back and check that one out. And without further ado, let me bring in the best co-host in the country, my man, The Beard, one time in the building, left side.
Strong side.
What it do, brother? How you living?
Hey, shout out to Ref the District, and shout out to all the Awthentik and The Beard family that showed up at the chat.
Yes.
I watched the replay late last night because I was doing my vintage t-shirt auction at the same time, and it was lit, man. It was great. Just the chemistry was there between the three of them and you. And I was telling Awthentik before we went on air, I was like, it was crazy. It was like, it wasn't even like I was watching Awthentik. It was like I was watching like a completely different person, because I was just like, man, this guy really knows his New York Giant football, man. So
little something.
It was a great show, man. You could tell it was really good too, because there was like a joke by the end of the interview when it was like, we got one more question. One more question.
It was literally like one more questions. It was dope. We didn't want that to end, man. That was a solid interview.
I mean, big shout out to Ref the District. If you guys aren't following them, subscribe to their channel. Find them on Twitter, man. Definitely a great group of guys. It's Week 18, man. It's the last week of regular season. And you know what? I'm not that mad.
We didn't get our wish, to play a meaningful game here in Week 18. When the schedule was released, we're looking at that last week like, man, that should be a really, really fun matchup. I was supposed to actually be at this game, but, with no playoff implications on the line and, pretty much a meaningless game. There's no way I'm going to be buying some tickets to go up to New York and waste money in the middle of a pandemic. Can't be out here doing that.
Probably snow and 10 degrees. Look, it might be warmer. Like the number of degrees in temperature might be more than the passing yards that the New York Giants have.
I'm so glad you said that, because today we're going to be kind of bringing a little bit of the theme from the Giant Overreaction show that we do on Mondays to our preview show tonight, and we're going to be bringing up a lot of over-unders. We're going to see if you guys think that these are overreactions, or we're going to need to see them used in the chat if you want to take the under on some of these. We're going to preview the first two games first, and then we'll get into the over-under games, and we'll do a little bit of trivia here to round out the show. Should be a really good time. But let's get to the chat, man. Get some shout-outs out the way. You know how it is. We got to show love to the fam and the day ones for sure, and then we can get into these two previews and get things rolling.
Sounds good. Shout out to everybody who's watching us right now on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and the Facebook. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you guys are here. We appreciate all the love and all the support. Coach Taylor is in the building.
If you're not first, you're last, Jameson. Shout out to the homie one time, man. How you living?
Big shout out to the homie Kevin, the PRF, one of our day one Hold It Down Washington football team fans.
Yes, sir.
You, sir.
I wonder if Kevin's going to turn that second into a thing. Like I'm second. I'm second in the building one time. Y'all know what it is.
Big shout out to the homie Lucas, AATB, last game of the season for our teams. Shout out to Lucas. I'm rocking the shirt that he sent me. This is literally my new favorite vintage Washington Redskins t-shirt.
Fire.
Fits like a charm. Super stoked. Thank you very much, sir.
Big shout out to Lucas, man. My lady is loving the snacks from Australia, man. She's been digging into those, what is it, the cherry pie joint or the cherry, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but the cherry chocolate joint. I had some of the macadamia vibes earlier, man. Thank you for all the gifts, bro. I'm putting together something for everybody in the Awthentik and The Beard family so y'all could see some of these gifts that Lucas blessed us with for Christmas. I mean, just some I didn't even want to let the cat out the bag, but these are some of the best gifts I've ever received, not just from football in general. These are some incredible gifts. So once again, man, shout out to the homie Lucas, man, one time.
Big shout out. And also big shout out to Zachary, who says, let's fire Joe Judge. I think that is the sentiment around most of the fan base and non-fan base.
That's how it's going. That's how it's going down. Type of games is being played. How's it going down?
Big shout out to Tony Obot. What's going on?
What's up, Antonio? How you living, boy?
And big shout out to the man, David. Always a pleasure when you get a chance to join us, sir. He said, I wasted 3 hours in person at a Giants game at Soldier Field this weekend. A wide receiver didn't even catch a football. Oh, man.
That's too much facts for him, David. Shout out to you, bro.
Big shout out to Josh Torre. Says the intro is so
Thank you, bro. That's shout out to the editing department and the video team. And for those of y'all that don't know, you're looking at the editing department, the graphics department, the video team, Awthentik and The Beard on everything right now, man. Appreciate you pulling up, Josh.
Big shout out to Mac, the Giants fan. What
going
up,
Mac?
On? Good to see you, sir.
Good to see Mac, man. That was a good show
from
the other
the Mac
day,
to the Get Back.
Hey.
Ash Money in the building. What's going on?
Ash Money in the building. What up, fam?
And there go the fellas over at Ref the District. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Like I said, if you guys aren't subscribed to them, make sure y'all do so. Go show them some love. Big shout out to the homie Lax Ofo in the building. What's going on? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets in the house.
Dog, we really got some day ones, bro. Shout out to all the day ones, man. Y'all continuously pulling up to these shows, man. We appreciate y'all pulling up, chopping it up with us about some NFC East football.
Big shout out to JJ Stangl in the building. What's going on, JJ? Good to see you. And big shout out to my fiance. She's working hard and watching and eating bomb Australian treats.
I heard you was digging into them treats like a DC rat, Josie. I heard about it.
The honey macadamia nuts and honey are
They're crazy. They're crazy, yo.
Sabrina's here. Good to see you, Sabrina.
Good to see
Thanks
Sabrina one time in the building.
We appreciate you for sure. And big shout out to Gretz. You gotta love it when the women in our lives are here to support us. We appreciate you guys.
Facts.
Thank
Snacks
you
and
very
all.
much.
Snacks and all.
We definitely appreciate it. Everybody, make sure you guys tell a friend to tell a friend, because listen, after we get into these previews, it's going to get old school crazy in here. But thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you guys, as always. Big shout out. Before we move on, I got to give a big shout out to Stan.
Most definitely.
What's up,
Stan?
fellas? Should be a fun one. Haitian and Beard OG. Beard, you know what I'm here for. I certainly do know what you're here for.
We was just talking about that tweet, yo. That's what's up, man. Shout out, Stan, yo. All right, so we're going to start with the Cowboys-Eagles first here, right?
All right.
Let's get it one time. All right. The Eagles and the Cowboys are set for an important Week 18 matchup with lasting NFC playoff implications. This game will be played in front of a national television audience, as the NFL just flexed this game to Saturday at 8:15 p.m., January 8th, instead of Sunday at 1 p.m. A lot on the line here. The Cowboys took care of business at home back in late September, defeating the Eagles 41-21. But this appears to be an entirely different version of the Philadelphia Eagles. Coach Sirianni, who was once laughed at, has got his Eagles running in the right direction behind quarterback Jalen Hurts and the #1 rushing attack in the NFL. This should be a great test for both teams, who will both be representing the NFC East in the playoffs. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing both of these teams play. We got some of these over-unders we're going to be talking about with these teams as well, but we're going to wait till we do both breakdowns. The Cowboys offense is coming in overall #2, rushing offense #10, and passing offense #3, but they still got the #1 scoring offense in the NFL right now. The Beard, what are your thoughts on this matchup here and who you got?
So, listen, it's kind of interesting the way they did this, because, Washington had to play Dallas and Philly in like back-to-back weeks, right? But Washington and the Giants played each other so early in the season, just like the Cowboys and the Eagles. And like you said, the Eagles team is an absolutely complete different team than they were earlier in the season. And I think it's interesting also how the Cowboys are playing the Eagles right after they just played the Cardinals, because there are a lot of similarities to the Eagles and the Cardinals teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the quarterback position, the ability to avoid the pass rush is huge, and the Cowboys seem to have a little bit of trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and
Hmm.
so I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be the key to this game, and it's not necessarily Jalen Hurts has to run for 100 yards. Key, it's more about just him being able to make the plays and avoid the sacks, because we know the Cowboys' defensive front is quick, and we know that they have the ability to get to the quarterback, which is super interesting considering the Philadelphia Eagles have only allowed 20. I think it's either 20 or 28 sacks on the year, which is eighth in the NFL. So the eighth fewest
Yeah.
sacks allowed in the
20
NFL.
is 28,
And
I believe. Yep.
and obviously that says a lot more about Jalen Hurts, I think, than it does the offensive line necessarily, because we've
Yep.
seen how the Eagles' offensive line at times can be very bad. So I
You
think
know how
that
the New York Giants fans out there who are very invested in Daniel Jones, they're like, the Eagles got one of the best offensive lines in the league, man. And we've seen it. We've seen it with our
Yeah.
own two eyes. I mean, there's been some blunders there from the offensive line for sure for the Philadelphia Eagles and that mobile quarterback. And what's crazy about this too is that Jalen Hurts as the mobile quarterback here. A lot of times, mobile quarterbacks do get sacked a lot. You look at Deshaun
for
Watson.
sure.
He
Oh
was
yeah.
sacked over 50 times in 2 seasons. And there's a bunch of other mobile quarterbacks that have suffered from being sacked here. But Jalen Hurts,
Josh
man,
Allen.
Josh Allen a lot too. But Jalen Hurts is just there's something about him in the pocket, and when they're running their RPO, man, he's just tight. Like the mechanics with him in the pocket are very, very, very good. It's everything else outside of that when he's throwing the ball where you would say he's got some trouble.
And it'll be interesting to see if they get Miles Sanders back for this game. And obviously, how much do the starters play? Who plays? All of that kind of plays a part. Obviously, I do believe neither one of these teams are locked in at their current seed. Their seed can change based upon the outcome of not only this game but the other games on the slate for Week 18 as well. I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest things that I thought was the most interesting when I was researching this game was the Eagles' pass defense,
Hmm.
especially going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who, they kind of haven't had that crazy game outside of the Washington games like they did early on in the year when Cooper and CeeDee Lamb were both going ham. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you're going to have Avonte Maddox and Darius Slay are going to be going basically up against Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
And the Eagles' pass defense is actually 11th in the league in total yards allowed. They're 13th in touchdowns allowed, but they are first in yards per catch, which is only at 9.5. So that's number 1 in the National Football League. So they're good about not giving up the deep ball. And they also only allow 6.5 yards per completion, which is third best in the National Football League. Now, then you got 2 tight ends in this game that are both, have put up some really crazy numbers as of late in Dallas Goedert and Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
And so Schultz has 3 games in a row with 8+ targets. So he's obviously been like the main focal point of the offense as of late, because I think defenses are kind of trying to take away CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And
You
they're
saw
gonna
that
be
against
like,
the Cardinals a lot.
Exactly. And so, and it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles can bounce back running the ball. It's not like they had a bad running game last week against the Washington football team, but I mean, they've been on an absolute tear running for 200+ yards X amount of times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Washington did a good job to a certain extent containing that run game of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys allow 110.6 yards per game. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I know neither one of these teams want to lose this game.
Yeah.
And
Especially with seeding on the line.
especially with seeding on the line, you don't want to go into the playoffs off of a loss, and you definitely don't want to go into the playoffs off of a loss to a division rival. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just like, which direction do I really want to go? I personally believe this game is going to be closer, a lot closer than that first game. I'm leaning towards the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. I'm gonna
And
give you
I
some
think-
nuggets that's gonna challenge your pick.
Yeah.
You wanna wait till I break it down before you go with the score prediction?
Just in case.
All right. So just
Insurance.
a couple little nuggets here that I pulled off the interwebs, okay? So the Cowboys have 25 interceptions. It's the most for Dallas since 1999 for their defense, okay? They're also 5-0 against the NFC East on the season. They can go undefeated in the division for the third time in Cowboys history. They did it in 1969. They did it in 1998. Dak Prescott, his record against the NFC East is ridiculous, 24-6. That shows you the kind of success that the Dallas Cowboys have had against the NFC East. The only loss in his past 16 starts in the division was to the Eagles in 2019. Outside of that, he's beaten us every time since, anybody else in the NFC East. Who else we got here? We got Amari Cooper, who, if you just use your eyes with Amari Cooper on this season, this don't seem like one of his most outstanding seasons, but he's tied a career high with 8 receiving touchdowns on the year. He's going to break that if he can get a touchdown in this game on Sunday or on Saturday here. Tony Pollard, he needs 31 rushing yards to reach 750 for the season. It would make him and Ezekiel Elliott the first Dallas tandem with at least 750 yards apiece since Calvin Hill and Walt Garrison. That's way before my time in 1972, okay? Long time ago. We know Micah Parsons, if he plays, he's dealing with the COVID situation. We're hoping that he can be, it'd be nice to see him play in this game because then he could challenge the sack record from Javon Curse from 1999. That's 14 and a half. Michael Parsons needs 2 to beat that record. And Trayvon Diggs is tied with Everson Walls for the club record right now with 11 interceptions. It's the most in the NFL since Walls set the mark as a rookie in 1981. Now, these are a couple of statistics. This is probably the one that I thought stood out the most to me about the Philadelphia Eagles. Just a couple of weeks back, I was saying I didn't think the Philadelphia Eagles were a playoff team. They found a way to sneak in there, and I think that has to do with a lot of the other teams just kind of falling apart here towards the end. The Saints didn't really have the right quarterback play to get it done. Minnesota Vikings kind of falling apart there without Kirk Cousins last week. But the Eagles have not beaten a team that currently has a winning record right now. And somebody brought this to my attention on another stream, and I went and I looked up every score, and I was like, wow, this is kind of ridiculous. The Eagles have beaten a bunch of bad teams here. And also, another statistic about the Philadelphia Eagles is this will be the first time in franchise history that their team made the playoffs after starting 2-5. You know the whole statistic when you start 0-2, but 2-5 is a very deep hole to try to climb yourself out of to then try to make the playoffs. And this is another good stat about the Eagles, too, that kind of made me go, do I want to lean Eagles, even though I'm definitely leaning Cowboys a little bit here. The Eagles are one of 3 NFC teams to make the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 seasons. So they've been probably one of the more consistent teams in the NFC East, in recent history here. We know about the Giants in the past 5 seasons. We've been the worst team in the NFL. The Eagles are, they're looking to get their playoff win here and bounce back. Everybody thought they were going to be at the bottom of the league, or at the bottom of the division here at the beginning of the season. And also, as far as running goes, we talked about the Eagles' rushing attack being the number 1 in the NFL right now. The Eagles are 41 yards away from the franchise rushing record of 2,607 yards. That was set in a 12-game season in 1949.
They was running the damn ball back then.
They was running the damn ball. The Cowboys lead the series in this too, 71 to 54 or 71-54. So for me, I'm looking for more Cowboys success here. They lost that game to the Cardinals last week. This is the perfect bounce back game. It's going to give you a little bit of competition of a team that you might see in the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dallas Cowboys. I think it'll be similar to the first matchup, but a little bit less of a blowout. I'm going to go 35-24 Dallas Cowboys.
Listen, all of that stuff is fine and dandy. A little bit of chocolate-covered raisins,
Chocolate-covered macadamia.
Yeah, unicorns dancing in the gold brick road, But listen, Philly is going to be lit Saturday night.
For sure.
And I know the Eagles, listen, the part that worries me the most is the fact that the Eagles haven't beaten a winning team. Okay?
Scary. You see how I kind of set that one up too? Like, yeah, that's a major nugget right there.
But everything that hasn't happened before has to happen to happen.
Yeah, okay. I feel I like how you added that little extra to happen. I like that. Anything that hasn't happened before has to happen to happen. I like that.
Everything that has happened that once happened never before.
You dropping bars right now. Are y'all taking notes on these gems from the beard right now? Did y'all hear that?
Listen.
So who you going with?
I know this is from one of the favorite baseball movies.
Oh yeah,
of all time.
Is that Angels in the Outfield?
Angels in the Outfield.
That ain't one of my favorite baseball movies of all time.
I mean, it's not, but I mean, listen, it's a good
one though. It's a good classic. It's a good classic.
But it's fly, Eagles fly. I can't pick the Cowboys, man. Listen, my team is out. I love a good underdog. What a wager on?
You know, it could be something physical, maybe like 50 push-ups or something, or
we're doing public push-ups now.
Could
man.
be a dollar amount. Could be, you know, whatever you want.
I'm getting
just
to.
asking
I'm
if you want to wager.
Well, listen. Okay, we'll wait until after the Washington Giants game, and we'll do a double game wager. Okay.
All right. Don't forget this one's on Saturday night.
Well, as I'm saying, we're going to do it by when we finish the preview for the Giants Washington game.
All right.
Josie,
So how about
said
this?
I can't do 50 push-ups.
Yeah, not straight for sure. You definitely can't do 50 push-ups.
Are you kidding me?
You can't do 50 push-ups in one seating. No way.
I could. I might not be able to do anything else the next day.
No, I would. You want to bet on that? You want to bet on that? You want to bet on that? I'm going to take the under.
The Eagles are going to win this game by a final score of 27-24.
27-24. I like that. If the Eagles do win, I like that score. I think that's a good one. But I think that the quarterback play from Dak Prescott is going to outshine Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts not quite ready yet. You know, this is his first real full season here. And I just think that, you know, the Cowboys going to be a little bit more prepared in this one coming off that big loss to the Cardinals.
We going to see.
We going to see. So no wager? No wager?
No, listen, we're going to make a wager. Okay, we'll wager. What do you want to wager? We'll wager.
Okay, so first we got to add the 50 push-ups to the Awthentik versus The Beard thing
challenge
that we're going to do here soon. Okay. The challenge, yeah. We'll add the 50 push-ups to that, so we'll take that off.
Okay, how about
wearing some gear on Saturdays or Sundays parlay? You got to wear some Giants gear.
No, I don't have any Giants gear to wear.
I got like 20 beanies over here for you, bro. Got an Eli jersey that'll fit you nice and right.
We would do that if the Giants beat the Washington football team.
Okay,
but how about we do this?
Yeah, I mean,
how about we do
this?
Happen. How about we do this? Do you think you could do 50 push-ups straight in a sitting?
I'm taking the under. But
on you though, do you think you could do
on
it?
Me, I
okay,
think I'm taking the under. But,
all right,
but
so let's do this.
Listen. With everything on the line, are we talking about on camera or off camera?
What you mean?
The push-ups being done.
Yeah, they gotta be on camera. I mean, they can be. Listen, you know how
like
my
on the podcast
Ain't
or
no
off the podcast is what I meant to say for real.
We'll do it off podcast, and then we'll make a video and show it during the podcast.
50.
Okay, so listen.
I think I'll get the 50.
Oh, all right. So this is what I was gonna say was, okay, so whoever loses, so you got Cowboys, I got Eagles, right? Whoever loses has to do 50 push-ups straight. Okay, the most time you can get in between a push-up is going to be 5 seconds, okay?
Okay.
And whatever the difference is between the push-ups you actually do and 50, you have to pay the other person in dollars.
All right, I'm with it. That's a great bet. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great bet. Yeah, you are a gambling man. That was solid right there. All right, that's what's up. So you got 27-24 Eagles, sorry, and I've got 35-24 Cowboys.
Yes.
I like it. How many hours do Josie? On camera. Kevin said on camera. Yeah,
listen,
right.
I would totally do it on camera, but the problem is the way my camera's set up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a zoom lens over there and everything, dog.
I don't got there's no leg room for me.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good excuse. We gonna make that work. I love the stipulations of the bet. It sounds perfect. It literally sounds perfect. I'm all for it.
All right.
All right, so let's get to this next game, man, and then we can get to the festivities for the evening, man. You know, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Finally got to see some blue here from my New York Giants, man. Those away games, I don't like what I was seeing there. All right, so the 6-10 Washington football team will head up 95 to MetLife Stadium to take on the lifeless 4-12 New York Giants. After ripping off a 4-game winning streak, Washington has come back down to earth, or maybe beneath it. Their last 12 games, I came up with this stat myself. Their last 12 games started with a 4-game losing streak and ended with a 4-game losing streak with 4 wins in between. It's been an up-and-down season, to say the least, for the football team. The Giants are on a 5-game losing streak and have lost 6 of their last 7. Jake Fromm will get the start at quarterback on Sunday, And after his last performance of 6 completions on 17 passes for 25 whole yards, there isn't much hope for the Giants fan base. This will be a 1 o'clock matchup as both teams are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and it would make no sense to flex this game that holds absolutely no significant meaning outside of draft position. The Beard, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. Who do you have winning this game and how and why?
All right. So first of all, I do my thing that I'm hoping for is I would like to see Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin both reach the 1,000-yard mark on the season. I think that would be a great building point for this team, and I think they both deserve it.
Terry McLaurin's 40 yards away.
Yep. And Antonio Gibson is a little bit farther away. He's 109 yards away.
Possible.
Which definitely
what
possible.
is the saying again? What hasn't happened has to happen for it to happen.
This is the end of the road, Joe.
End of the
Cute
road,
boys
Joe.
to men. Yeah, it's listen. The one thing the Washington has, their offensive line has kind of quietly been bad. Now, I don't necessarily think it's the offensive line as much as it is Taylor Heineke, because Taylor Heineke, the boy.
Oh, I don't even like that assessment. I already don't like where this is going. Go ahead. I don't even like where this is going.
The Washington football team have allowed the 8th most sacks in the league. They have allowed 40 sacks this season.
Ain't that
Now,
bad.
that is a combination of the offensive line and then, the backups playing, as well as obviously Taylor Heineke's inability to get rid of the ball at times. And, but I mean, he has – listen, he's the blessing and the curse. He's the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know what I'm saying? He's good when he gets away, but when he can't get away, it's bad. The only thing that we got going right now is the New York Giants are 25th in sacks defensively.
Yeah.
And 30th in pressure rate this season. So the Giants got trouble getting to the quarterback. So that's a good thing for us, obviously. Now, Washington has a bad pass defense, the 3rd worst pass defense in the league. The only thing that's good about that is the New York Giants can't pass the ball.
Big facts.
So
28th passing offense in the NFL right now for the New York
if the
Giants.
Giants are looking to run the ball, Washington's run defense is 8th best in the National Football League. So it's pretty clear here that all the things that Washington is bad at, that the New York Giants would have to attack, they're bad at.
Yep.
And all the things that the Giants are good at, if there are any of those, Washington is counteractively good at defending against those, or offensively, they just doesn't match up well for the New York Giants, unfortunately. I mean, listen, they said they're going to shut him down once the game is decided either way.
Makes sense.
And that's the other thing too. I know a lot of people are like, why should Terry McLaurin play? Because the man loves to play football.
That's
You know what
a
I'm
good
saying?
enough reason, man.
It's a good enough reason, right? Like,
Yeah.
my man wants to compete. They're football players. If
The
you're a
1,000
football
yards
player,
is important. The 1,000 yards is important too. I mean, as much as people would say that's probably not important, for the longevity of your career, you want to look back at a receiver like that and say, hey, this guy was a 1,000-yard guy this many times.
yeah, and it's these a lot of these players, they get paid based on performances to a certain extent. There's bonuses all throughout their contracts. Big shout out to
Yeah, for
Zachary
sure.
for the $2 super chat. Says thoughts on Judge's dig at Rivera. I heard he did a lot of back walking. He was moonwalking.
He did.
So listen, look, I mean, when you're down, right, and you got nowhere to go, you know what most people do? Not people
Turn
like
into a crab
Authentic
in a
and The
bucket.
Beard, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They down there pulling at the closest ankle they can find while they falling to pull them down so they can get back up. And I think that's just what it was. And listen, it's not like he went into that conference and was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna, go crazy for 11 minutes." He lost it. He lost
You know
it.
what's crazy about that is, like, for instance, when I come on the show, right, and we do, the Giants have gotten completely washed on Sunday, and we come back on Tuesday to do our recap show. Mentally, I tell myself as a professional, as I would hope I am on this channel, right? As much as I can be, okay? I tell myself, are you gonna rant and lose it today, or are you gonna just chill and be professional before I rant? So for a guy of Joe Judge's status, caliber coach like that, head coach in the NFL, I think he went into it a little bit premeditated. You know, I'm gonna talk about this because I feel like my job's on the line.
And that could be so. You know what? I would imagine it's probably a mixture of the two.
Because
You
you
know what I'm
you got the
saying?
cameras on you, and the thing about you're on the biggest spotlight of sports when you do a press conference. So if you do anything silly, you know all the media from national is gonna pull this up the next day and be
And it's
talking
New
about you.
York.
And
It's
it's
not
New
like
York.
you're
It's not like you're
Jacksonville.
Tennessee Titans or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is in New York, you know, where media is king. So I think he kind of knew what was going on, but I do agree with you on this, that it spiraled out of control a little bit on him, and he started going into a, you know, you get heated and you just start speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I always tell myself, you going to rant or you not going to rant. Rant has a tone to it, you know? Rant
Yeah.
got that, they are who we thought they were, too. You know what I'm saying?
Can't do
If
it,
I'm gonna
won't
keep
do
it pro,
it.
can't do it, won't do it. Playoffs, Rant has that vibe to it. And Joe Judge, literally, he's up there like, we ain't got no golf clubs in front of the lockers, and we ain't on the sideline fighting nobody, right? You know, you get that the little ghetto kind of vibe in you,
He
right?
went a little Medea on him.
He went a little Medea on him. He
Medea
sure
Judge.
did, man. But I thought it was real weak for him to take that shot at y'all. And then if you were going to take that shot, be a man about it and either apologize about it or, you know, say you screwed up. Don't backpedal on it and say, oh, no, that wasn't a dig at the Washington football team. Well, who else was fighting on the sidelines this year? I will tell you who was fighting on the field this year was the Rams. Jalen Ramsey was out there. He punched one of his he came a little right to his face. And then you could see that. I forget the homie's name. He's in the secondary for the Rams. He was on the sidelines with the coaches, and you could tell he was like, y'all gonna take his side on this? Nah. And Jalen Ramsey over there just chopping it up, just chilling. You know, you're getting that little bit of star privilege on. But
you know what it was like? It was like a viral video of a cat like swiping at something. That's what it looked like. You know how the little cat
yeah, you
swipes?
be in the mirror with your cat. He hit you with a little bap, them little skibbity paps. Shout out to the homie. I think it's Tony Baker that be doing those videos with the cats, man. They're hilarious. Shout out
big
OBX
shout
Picker,
out.
too. Oh, yeah, you got that.
Big shout out to the homie Eric, the OBX picker. Appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Says, what's going on, fellas, with the $1.99 super chat? Appreciate
yes,
you,
sir. What up,
brother.
OBX Picker? Hope all is well. I see a lot of new people just pulled up in the chat. Shout out Logan one time. I see Marjorie just made her way into the building. Mr. Mini Guy in the building. Rachel the Great in the building. And Suchit in the building, man. Shout out to all of y'all here. We got a little bit of trivia popping off after this recap we're going to do here. And then we also we're going to play a little bit of game of over-under, how we do on the Giant overreaction on Mondays here. That's got a lot to do with the off-season for the Washington football team and for the New York Giants. So we'll do this the same way, I guess. You don't got to give your score yet. You got any more nuggets you want to get out the way or anything?
No, I have
sure I'm not stepping on toes.
I have completely ate all of my nuggets. Used
got
all
a good
the
9
sweet
piece, a
and
good
sour
10
sauce.
piece out the way, right?
Yeah.
So for me, man, I think that the key matchup is you talked about this. If Terry McLaurin plays, I think that'll be a key matchup for the secondary for the New York Giants for sure. You know, last week he had or was this last game actually? Yeah, this was last game actually. He had 11 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown. That was back on September 16th. Now, for Washington has not beaten the Giants at MetLife Stadium since 2018. And, you know, you would think things like this yield well for the New York Giants, but Daniel Jones, the Washington football team kryptonite, the Washington football team killer, is not out here on Sunday. We're going to have Jake Fromm out there, so that's going to make things very difficult. Taylor Heineke, he balled out. He probably had one of his best games. I think this was his best game against the New York Giants in week 2. He did set career highs of 34 completions and 336 passing yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
How many times he throw the ball in that game, man? We don't need no 40, 46, 47, 48 passes from Taylor Heineke, please.
I mean, we'll take that day all day. You want to give give me that for Jake Fromm. 34 completions on 47 throws or something like that. 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. I will take it. You know, you also got Jared Patterson, who I think is an interesting matchup in this game versus New York Giants as well, too. If Antonio Gibson plays, how much of a backseat will Jared Patterson have to take after having pretty much a career-high game as well? He had had 5 receptions, and he had 98 scrimmage yards last week, and also got his second career touchdown versus the Dallas Cowboys. Terry McLaurin, we talked about this one already, 40 yards away from his second consecutive 1,000-yard season. He led the team with 7 catches and 61 yards last week, kind of got back on track after, pretty much being shut out for a couple of weeks there. No Ricky Seals-Jones for you guys, no Logan Thomas. And I always say, Ricky Seals-Jones is not that drastic of a fall off from Logan Thomas, but we'll see what happens with John Bates and Sammy Reyes getting a little bit more playing time here with Ricky Seals-Jones going to be out with the neck injury. You guys also got 2 linemen expected to return, Sam Cosmi and Eric Flowers. It's a revenge game for your boy Eric Flowers. Shout out to Eric Flowers, going to be out there trying to do some damage one time.
And shout out to Charles Leno, our tackle who just got the bag. We extended him, gave him a contract, which is super important. Obviously, he has been, he's been good. And that was a low-key pickup this offseason, free agent from Chicago Bears. So big shout-out to Leno. His family's actually been super awesome and in the community and stuff like that. So just wanted to get that big shout-out. And one more big shout-out. Big shout-out to the Formula Fitness. Congratulations.
Hey,
had
big
a baby
congrats.
Today. Congratulations. We appreciate you tuning in, giving your child their first dose of Awthentik and The Beard. We appreciate it.
That's fire, bro. That's fire right there, man. Congratulations to the Formula Fitness one time, man. That's just awesome right there. That's probably a first for Awthentik and The Beard. You actually in the hospital right now, baby delivered, and you up listening to Awthentik and The Beard. We appreciate it, man. Big salute to you for pulling up and supporting the channel, man. Hope you're enjoying yourself here. Just a couple little other things here for the New York Giants, man. Talked about this. We lost 5 straight. We had a season low, 151 yards in total offense last week. I know Washington is just licking their chops right now. We only had the 24 yards passing. It was negative 11 net. Mike Glennon, 4 of 11, 2 interceptions. Things looking bad, but he's not playing in this game, so maybe things can't get that bad. The Giants rushed for 163 yards against Chicago, 2 shy of the season high. Set in the first game against Washington. So what do you know? You talked about that 8th-ranked run defense. We're going to try to run the ball with Saquon Barkley, who also had his best game after tearing his ACL in 2020 September against the Chicago Bears. He had 102 yards on 21 carries against the Bears. So I'm looking for them to really get a ball to Saquon Barkley. It'd be nice to see him get back-to-back 100-yard games to end out the season. That'd be really nice. I think the Giants got to commit to Saquon Barkley, not only for next season, but hopefully he can get 100% on that knee, man, and get back to Saquon Barkley ways and not be this running back that everybody's kind of given a tough time to because they're saying he's dancing, not hitting the hole, and et cetera. But I just think Saquon Barkley just needs a little bit of rest, another season to get that knee up underneath of him. And also somebody else I think the Giants are going to have a little bit of trouble with here is Lorenzo Carter, man. He's aiming to have his 4th straight game with a sack. He started off awful. Can't forget that he's coming off that Achilles injury, another tough injury. So I think Giants fans need to give, a little leadway to these guys coming off these major injuries and trying to get back out here. And you see at the end of the year, both of these players are starting to improve. Lorenzo Carter might be a guy the Giants might want to give a 1-year contract, kind of like a prove-it deal too, instead of trying to let him walk and bring in, somebody else to replace him in the free agent world or something like that. I think that'll be real tough. And Tay Crowder's another one at the linebacker position, man. I think he's been balling out. I like the play I've been seeing from him. He doesn't look like a starter, but he's been doing really well, man. 118 tackles on the year. That's a first for the New York Giants. And Logan Ryan is second with 110. That's why I do like Logan Ryan in the secondary. He is a good tackler, sometimes lacks the coverage. As far as this game goes, man, it's going to be really hard for the Giants to generate any offense. Again, I know Giants fans have been seeing those statistics floating around. We have 1 touchdown in our last 35 drives. That is just ridiculous. I mean, you're not going to win no games like that.
Wait.
Yeah, that's a real stat.
One more again.
1 touchdown in the last 35 drives.
That's got to be close to a record or something, right?
Got to be. I was telling
I think I saw something today that said that the Giants are the only team that hasn't been above 500 at any point in a season for the last 5 years.
5 years. Yep, for 5 years. Yep. And we're the only team to not make the playoffs in that streak as well, too. Cowboys, Washington, and Philadelphia within the division have all made it to the playoffs multiple times in that stretch, and the Giants have not. So, last 5 years has definitely been bad. I don't know where the offense is going to come from because even if you run the ball with a little bit of success here with Saquon Barkley and Devontae Booker, I don't think that's going to yield a lot of red zone opportunities. I mean, Saquon Barkley had over 100 yards last week, and the Giants didn't even get to the red zone one time. So, I mean, I can't bank on this offense really doing much. If the Giants are going to win this game, the only out for them to try to win this game would be like 9-6. 3 field goals, Graham Gano, and the defense pitches pretty much a shutout.
If you force some turnovers, I think that's probably in the state of the Giants right now. Your best bet is to force turnovers and give yourself a short field advantage.
And even that it's not going to yield enough points for them to really hang with y'all. I think that's going to be the problem. You got to look at it like this: the Chicago Bears. We just went to Chicago to play the Bears there, and they just blew us out. The Bears, bro. What if the Bears blown out this whole season?
But listen, when you really look, nobody. But if you look at that game, though, they got the 14 points early on, the turnovers where it was like the one turnover. It was like they had the ball on like the 4-yard line, when they scored.
And
then
I don't think the Giants
scored
getting turnovers. I think that it's more important for the Giants to not turn the ball over.
Yeah,
every game we've gotten down and gotten in that hole early on, it's coming from early turnovers. This Bears game, the first play that he dropped back to throw the ball, he gets hit blind. He gets hit front side. No one blocking that defensive end. Fumble, pick it up. They're almost in the end zone. So for me, the Giants got to figure out a way to clean it up with the turnovers. We had that one game where Saquon Barkley even fumbled him, and he lost his first fumble of his career. Like things like that. If the Giants want to have a chance to win the game, they got to get rid of stuff like that. We'll talk about the turnovers a little bit more in the over-under section that we're going to do right after this. But I don't know, man. I just don't see a way that the Giants are going to be able to win this game. I mean, the one thing that I think could happen is if you see a little bit of that Jake Fromm we saw in that 2-minute drill in his debut this season, if you could see a guy like that throughout the whole game, I mean, maybe there's a shot that the Giants, pull off a miracle here with Jake Fromm, doing some damage. But I don't see it. For me, I think if we're going to win the game, it's going to have to be like 9-6, 12-6, 12-9, something like that. If Washington gets over 14 points, there's no way the Giants are going to win this game. And if I'm wrong, then so be it. I hope I'm wrong. We'll see how that goes. But for me, I'm going to go I picked this score earlier, and I'm trying to stay with the score that I picked on Ref the District show last night. I'm going to go 27-6. Washington football team will get 2 field goals from Graham Gano and no touchdowns. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, like I said, when we do this over-under section. But I'm going to go 27-6 Washington football team.
So I will tell you that I have this nightmare scenario. Okay?
Yeah.
Nightmare scenario is Week 18. The god-awful Giants defeat the Washington football team. Then February 2nd, our new name is the Presidents. And then the week after that, the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl. That's like my nightmare scenario. Okay?
That's
so I'm going to need it just get me started into the non-nightmare direction, okay? And let's just get a win. I think we were able to do so. I think we win by a final score of 24-12.
24-12. I like that score too. We'll go with 4 field goals from Graham Gano.
I might have to go live for the unveiling of the new Washington.
That would be smart. That would be smart.
Man.
So that's going to be on the 2nd of February. And when is the Super Bowl?
It's usually right around my birthday, right?
Yeah. Let's see the date of the Super Bowl. It is February 13th. That's what's up.
February 13th. Okay, so
yeah, we should go live during that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
What name are you hoping for out of the ones you've heard? You were saying Red Tails?
Red Tails has always been my choice, but I don't think that's really even going to be an option.
You should at Washington, even though they've already announced the name. We should have did this a long time ago. You should have added them and said, to keep the fight song intact, it would make sense to get like a 2-syllable name like Red Tails. Hail to the Red Tails, hail victory. It makes a little more sense than hail to the Commanders. That's not going to work out too well.
Listen, you want to hear? I'll give you a brief thing about why it would be a nightmare. What? Washington Presidents? Just listen to what that sounds like.
They're not going to do that.
There's nothing
I'm
about
banking
that.
on it.
Listen, I've already had to live through the Bullets becoming the Wizards. And that's kind of like, we've eased off of it at first. But if you think back to when the Wizards first became the Wizards,
Yeah.
it was bad.
I don't think it was as bad as this. And here, this the other reason why I think the Wizards reveal was so bad. The first set of uniforms that they released with the weird W, those were awful.
Yeah.
Thank God they went back to like some of the Bullets themes. Yeah, those were really bad, man. Those, I don't know what they was thinking on that. But the Washington football team, the reveal of the uniforms where they were showing some of the like chest of the uniform and stuff like the seams, it looked good. It looked really good. We'll see how that logo looks. But it looked like they kind of tried to upgrade it a bit and keep it very sleek. And I'm hearing that y'all might have an alternate black uniform.
Yeah,
which would be really cool. I would love to have a black uniform in New York. That had you looking like them Sharks from Miami, any given Sunday, Willie Beeman vibes. I like that all black,
And some people were saying that it might be the Red Hogs, and that's why they're doing it on 2/22 because it's Groundhog's Day.
Ooh, I don't like that name, though. Red Hogs.
No.
You ever seen a red hog?
No. Well, I've seen a red Razorback hog, There used to be a DC team called the DC Warthogs. I think it was like an indoor professional soccer league or something like that.
I do remember
back
that.
In the day.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Listen, there are a couple of funny other ones too that like. So apparently, Boomer Esiason said that
he got word about admirals. Right. Which admirals is better than presidents. Presidents is god awful.
There's I don't even know what this sport is. I thought it was a Harry Potter sport, but there's a Quidditch team, a professional Quidditch team. If anybody knows what Quidditch is,
nope,
I don't know if that's Harry Potter or if that's like a version of racquetball. But there is already a Washington Admirals Quidditch team, and the mascot kind of looks like me actually. So if anybody knows what Quidditch is, please let me know. I'd like to know.
Monique
and then this is another one of why they were saying it. They were saying that the Admirals it redirects to the Washington football team. So
does it?
Yeah.
Nah, hold up.
Yeah. The Quidditch is Harry Potter.
Nah, okay. It does not. It doesn't though.
Yeah, maybe it was a
unless I spelled it wrong. Admirals. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, it doesn't forward. It doesn't forward to their page. Now that would have been they would have botched it if they did that. They would have botched it if they did that. I hope they don't ruin the logo though, because the W that they were using with the Washington football team, I'm kind of getting used to it. It's not too bad. So worst kind of worst. Hopefully they use the W, but if not, don't go out here messing with the logo too crazy. I've been seeing some funny things like a funny R, and I don't want to see that. So we'll see. February 2nd, we'll do a little reveal party. We'll pull up maybe like about a good 40 minutes before they reveal it, and then we'll chop it up and we'll talk about that. But you got your score for this game, right? You gave your score for this one.
I'm gonna back out real quick because it looks like I'm glitching.
Has anybody in the chat said that?
Yeah, Monique said it, and I looked, and I am. So let me back out really quick.
Okay, go ahead and back out. Once you come back, we'll start the over-unders and whatnot.
Gotcha.
All right, so while the beard does that, why don't we get some score predictions in the chat, what y'all think about this Washington football team versus the New York Giants game coming up here, Week 18 on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Let me see what y'all thinking about this as far as scores go right before we get off into the over-under section of the show tonight. And we're going to be doing some trivia, man. I got some awesome trivia questions coming up. We're going to be dealing with 3. It's going to be a format of Who Am I?, where I list off some accomplishments and some accolades and some statistics from a player. And you guys in the chat are going to have to guess who that player is before the beard. To beat him in this competition here that we're going to be doing for the trivia today. So we got Mr. Mini Guy in the building. He says 17-3 Washington. I kind of like that score too, because I might be giving the Giants a little bit too much leadway with the 6 points that I granted them here. My 27-6 score. Shout out to RZA Jizza GFKODB. I like that name. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Vibes one time. He says 24-3. I'm thinking that's probably going to be for Washington. Blazing Serenade. What up, Blazing Serenade? In the building one time says 52-3 Washington football team. Rachel the Great says 27-3. I'm thinking that's for the Washington football team. Tony Rizzo out here one time in the building says 27-24 for Big Blue. We all hoping that might happen, unless you kind of hoping we get the better draft picks. And Zachary one time in the building says 45-0 Washington football team. Rivera will want to embarrass Joe Judge. Now that is a good point you bring up there, because I do feel like Ron Rivera taking this personally. He said all that stuff you talking, Joe Judge, ain't got nothing to do with the outcome that's going to happen on Sunday. So we will see how that goes. My man Waterfly one time in the building says 14-13 New York Giants.
Wow.
Kevin says the Beard Resurrections. Shout out to Kevin one time, first off, for talking about Resurrections, which reminds me about The Matrix. I watched the new Matrix, enjoyed the new Matrix. I thought it was dope. It took me a couple times to watch it. But then what I did was I went back and I watched Matrix 1 after watching the new Matrix. It made Matrix 1 that much better. There were some things that got tied together in the story that pieced together a little bit better, and some more clarity in the storyline, man. I really enjoyed it. I watched it last night, stayed up late. Tried to watch Matrix 2, but I kind of passed out on that one. I'm going to go back and watch that one for sure. Shout out to the homie Nick the Wick one time. He says Giants score no more than 6, 26-3 for Washington. Kevin the PRF says 24-6. We do you a solid in the Chase Young Bowl 2. That's funny right there. And Marjorie says, I have New York Giants scoring at least 6, 2 field goals, but I guess it is possible our defense could score. I did not think about that. Can't rule that out. The defense could probably put up some points on the board. Stephen White one time says 20-17 for the Washington Leakers. OT. Word. That'd be awesome to get an overtime game for the last game of the season for both of our teams. Any more score predictions here? Monique's got a score.
Lax?
Yeah, I got Lax.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
His super chat?
No, I didn't.
Shout out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Washington should have changed their name to the Sentinels. No.
The Beard don't like Sentinels.
I don't like nothing that got to do with like all these names sound like generic like movie names. Like there's no licensing. Like what was the name of the team that Keanu Reeves played for in the Replacements? Was it the Sentinels? The Sentinels, the Admirals,
it was something like that. But
Presidents.
the Sentinels were the machines in the Matrix too, in the real world in Zion that were coming in there trying to kill their ship too. So you could flip it on them like that, flip the script a little bit. I like Sentinels better than I like Presidents. I think it's a close tie between Sentinels and Admirals, I think.
Okay, so if it is really down to the Final Four that they said, what do you think is the best one? The Final Four that they have said, they've been doing like this whole series. Like it's just been like, the
internet seems worse over there, but go ahead. I'm kind of getting
okay. All right. So you got the Red Hogs, the Commanders, the Defenders, and the Presidents. Those are the Final Four apparently.
Red Hogs, Presidents, Admirals.
No Admirals. Red Hawks.
Red
Hogs,
Presidents,
Defenders, Commanders.
Them joints all bogus.
They're all bogus, right?
Yeah, they're all bogus. There better not be any of those. I don't like any of those names. Yeah, I don't like any of those. I hope your internet connection is getting a little bit better there. I hope also y'all in the chat keep us in the loop with that, because I'm monitoring this on StreamYard. I'm not actually monitoring it from the stream. It does look a little bit better now. I think we're doing pretty good right now. We'll see how things go. Just keep your eye on the chat for sure. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says, I like the Hog name, the Red Hogs. Hey, it does work with the anthem. You could say hail to the Red Hogs. It does kind of work. So maybe of those names, it might be the best. Somebody, KHY001 says Braves for a military theme. Braves wouldn't be too bad.
I don't think they'll do that.
Well, here's the thing. I've been seeing this go around the community too. When you don't like something, what would you like? Red Tails? That's it? Is that the only name you would consider, Red Tails?
Well, I wasn't mad at the Red Wolves, I guess, to a certain extent. I just, because to me, I feel like it's more marketable. Like you got the Wolf Pack, the Wolf Den. Like you have the Big Howl or something like that's how I look at. I kind of look at it from the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
and with Red Tails, I just thought that it would be more, it would fit well with the fight song, and it would be, it would be good for the community, things like that. I just don't. They did say Red Wolves is 100% out. I
Yeah.
don't want the generic name. But I mean, we talked about it briefly, you and I, when we were like trying to go through it, and we're like,
He said
I mean,
Washington
it's
Liberals.
difficult to come up with a name. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy. I think we.
I mean, if
you
I
know,
had
we
2 years
kinda-
to do it, I'd come up with something fire.
Yeah.
And look, KHY001, like I like this, what he's suggesting here, like infantry, right? But when me and the Beard were looking up every team in the NFL, every team ends in a plural, like Packers, Giants, Bears. Every team has an S at the end of it right now, except the Washington football team. But I was thinking about something like this, like infantry or like, brigade or just something that like isn't, the Packers. It's something like that, but it seems like the NFL is probably not going to be going for that. But I like that. Infantry, shout out to Mobb Deep, man. Those give you them Havoc Prodigy vibes right there, man.
Yeah. I like it.
All right, man.
I
So
like
I hope you're I haven't really got to gauge the internet situation
It's
over
good.
there.
It's good from what I'm seeing on my YouTube.
Yeah, it's like your voice kind of does like a little bit of choppy stuff going on, but I think we'll be okay. Steve White said, I'm just joking. I feel you on that. That was a funny name, though. What else we got? I'm just trying to make sure we got everybody's names out the way. Steve White said the Washington whatchamacallits. You can keep the W for sure on that one.
I ain't mad at that.
I like that one for sure. All right, so without further ado, so you can't look at the brand no more. When you were off air, I explained it to the chat. I told them that they're going to be going up against you. We're going to be giving
so that
hints.
worked out.
Yeah, you see your internet's just janky again, but it did work out. I did get to explain the rules to them. We're going to have at least 3 hints for this Who Am I section. And after I give the last and final hint, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I think I made these blatant enough where y'all should be able to get these and we should be good to go. And these are all only NFC East players. I'll keep it funky with you. There are no Cowboys and there are no Eagles when we get to that trivia section of it. There are a couple Cowboys over-unders that we're going to go over. So let me break down the rules of this one first for y'all. So the way we do Giant Overreaction is we put statements on the screen that normally come from Twitter, YouTube, or anywhere across the internet, sometimes from national media. And if you agree with the statement on the screen, then you're going to take the under. If you think that the statement on the screen is an overreaction and that won't happen, then I'm going to need you to put an O in the chat. I know a lot of y'all are very familiar with this for the ones who do pull up to Giant Overreaction on Mondays. We're going to be doing our last one this upcoming week. I'm going to have the Beard on for the first time since we're playing Washington. It only makes sense. So you know how that goes now. Overreaction, if you think it's an overreaction, you're going to have to react with an O in the chat. If you need a push and you think you need a little bit more time to answer this question, maybe end of the season or a little bit of the off season, then you can put the hand emoji or you can put a P in the chat. And if you agree with the statement on the screen, like I said before, you're going to take the under and you'll put a U in the chat. All right? And this one is not going to be the chat versus the Beard, obviously. These are going to just be for everybody. I want to see people. We'll give you some time to get your thoughts together, Beard, while we read off some of the ones in the chat. And then you can make your decision. All right? Good to go over there?
Let's do it, man. Let's rock and roll, man. Left side,
right.
strong side.
All right. Tell Miss Kelly, stop streaming that Netflix video right now.
I'm good. I'm
just telling you what I'm getting over here in my ears, man. It's choppy. It's choppy. I said, I'm good. It's working. It's okay. You're going to have some time to get things together. All right. So let's see. Let's give them some background vibes, too, for this one time. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the first one, we're going to start with the Washington football team on this one, chat, okay? We'll get a couple of Washington football team ones out the way, and these kind of refer to this game coming up here. We'll start with this one right here. That's going to be tough with my hoodie on there, too. Taylor Heinicke will play the whole game without throwing an interception on Sunday. Chat, let me know what y'all think. If you agree that Taylor Heinicke will not throw an interception on Sunday, let me see them U's in the chat that you're going to take the under. If you think this is an overreaction and that Taylor Heinicke will throw an interception on Sunday versus the New York Giants, let me see those O's in the chat for an overreaction. Give you a little bit of time to get your thoughts together, let the Beard get his wits together, and we'll rock to this, authentic instrumental for a quick second here, and we'll see what the chat's talking about. Shout out my homie Renee Guzman one time in the building. He says this is an overreaction that Taylor Heinicke will throw an interception. Monique says the exact same thing, and being that she's a Cowboys fan, I totally understand it. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets takes the U. He says that Taylor Heinicke will not throw an interception on Sunday. NY Jeff in the building one time says, nah, he will throw an interception. Right after No Met says that he won't. Zachary says this is an overreaction. Taylor Heineke will throw an interception. Mr. Mini Guy goes with the same opinion. Shout out Kareem Yee in the building. He says this is an overreaction. Shout out my homie Lucas all the way from Australia has got the O for overreaction one time. He says Taylor Heineke will throw an interception. NY Jeff talked about how he's taking the under. Swamp Picker in the building one time says this is an overreaction and that Taylor Heineke will throw an interception. Same goes for Marjorie. Same goes for Old Man Rob. Thinks that Taylor Heineke will throw an interception. Blazing Serenade takes the under and says Taylor Heineke will not throw an interception. Shout out KHY001 in the building. The gangster profile pick too. I'm definitely digging that. He says this is an overreaction. Waterfly in the building takes the under. He thinks Taylor Heineke will play a clean game, no interceptions. Alexis in the building, shout out to Alexis one time in the building, says this is an overreaction. Kevin the PRF and the homie Big Los both say this is an overreaction. I want to say both of them are Washington football team fans as well. Not a lot of faith in their quarterback over there. RZA, Jizza, GFK, Ghostface Killer. Okay, I was wondering what the GFK was for. ODB, shout out Ghostface Killer one time. Got to open up for the 20th anniversary of Cuban Links with him and Raekwon. That was an awesome experience. Says he's taking the under one time. James Funk says Taylor Heineke's going to throw 3 interceptions on the day. Swamp Picker says hello. And what else we got here? Steve White says 3 picks as well. Zachary says, what happens if it's dropped INTs, which is the Giants are known for? Then it's not an interception. You got to go with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to take that overreaction one time if you think that's the case. Let me see. I think we got them all out the way. Los Collects takes an O with the laughing emoji one time and says, this is an overreaction. Taylor Heineke will throw an interception. All right, NY Jeffs, you getting a little bit ahead of us right there. I got you on the Kenny Galladay. Don't even worry. You know I got you on the Kenny Galladay one time. All right, Beard, so we got all our submissions in. I saw a lot of overreactions here. A lot of people thinking Taylor Heineke is going to throw an interception, saying that he will freeze up under the pressure like your internet is doing right now. So what are your thoughts on this one? Is this an overreaction that Taylor Heineke will play the whole game without throwing an interception, or are you going to take the under?
I'm going to turn this U into an O.
And say it's an overreaction.
Overreaction. Taylor Heineke's going to throw an interception.
Okay. Keep this in mind.
I'm pretty sure he's throwing an interception every game so far. The last 5 games in a row, every loss we've had, he's throwing an interception.
Yeah, 4 in a row for sure. So let's see how many games Taylor Heineke has not thrown an interception. Taylor Heineke has 4 games on the season where he has not thrown an interception, and he's thrown interceptions in all of the other games. He has 4 games where he's thrown 2 interceptions.
Yeah, so the odds aren't in his favor right now.
Sabrina also says this is an overreaction. What's up, Sabrina? Salute to you in the building one time. All right, so we got that one out the way. We got a lot of these to go through, but we don't got no Thursday night game or nothing, so we got a little bit of time here. I'm thinking we probably got about a good 45 minutes at least left of Awthentik and The Beard, and that's a positive thing across the internet. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to this next one over here, this next statement, okay? We'll stay with the Washington football team, the team formerly known as. Now, this one, let me get this off the screen here one time. So, Terry McLaurin had 107 yards in the first matchup against the Giants and will go over 100 yards on Sunday. Let's give the chat another instrumental time's worth to get their thoughts together and see what they're talking about. If you think this is an overreaction and Terry McLaurin will not go over 100 yards on Sunday, let me see those O's in the chat for this is an overreaction. If you agree with this statement on the screen, let me see the U's in the chat. We can't take the push on this one. He's either going to get the yards or he's not. So we need over-unders, okay? Ain't no push on this one, okay? There's definitely no push on this one. So let's see where we at. Let me get my chat back caught up one time. And we got, okay, Alex Hobson one time in the building. Shout out Alex in the building one time. He says he's going with the O, that this is an overreaction and Terry McLaurin will not have over 100 yards on Sunday. James Funk feels the exact same way. He says it's an overreaction. Mr. Mini Guy takes the under. Terry McLaurin will get 100 yards on Sunday, according to Mr. Mini Guy. Shout out to Mr. Mini Guy one time in the building. I told Lucas no pushes, but after that Christmas gift that he sent my way, you can do what you want, Lucas. Lucas takes the push on this one time. Blazing Serenade in the building takes the under. does agree that Terry McLaurin will get 100 yards on this one. Kareem Yee thinks the exact same thing. KHY001 says the exact same thing. He takes the under. How many yards does he need to get to 1,000 yards? We talked about this one earlier. Terry McLaurin needs 41 yards, I believe it is. Let's just double check it. 40 exactly. He needs 40 yards to get to 1,000 yards. So maybe when he gets to that 1,000, he takes a seat on the bench. We'll see. Zachary takes the under on this one and says that Terry McLaurin will get over 100 yards. Waterfly thinks it's an overreaction. Los Collects takes the under. NY Jeff says yes, he is going over 100 yards. Old Man Rob takes the under, says he will go over 100 yards. Sabrina says this is an overreaction and Terry McLaurin will not get over 100 yards. Stan Albert says he's taking the overreaction, but not because of Terry, but because the Washington will sleepwalk to a 23-6 victory. I feel you on that. Alexis takes the under. Monique says this is an overreaction. Big Los and NY Jeff both take the under on this one. Renee says that McLaurin's going to hit 1K, so maybe that means that he's not going to get the 100 yards, but he will hit 1K. Lucas says over with Heineke throwing, who knows? That's very true. That's very true. And Los Collect says he's actually taking the over. He meant on that one. Renee says he's taking the under. Terry McLaurin will get 100 yards. And Kevin the PRF takes the under, thinks Terry McLaurin will get 100 yards as well. And last but not least, Queen Marjorie says that Terry McLaurin will not get 100 yards receiving and that this is an overreaction. All right, we got all the votes in so far. The Beard, how we looking on this one? Is Terry McLaurin going to get 100 yards on Sunday, or is this an overreaction?
What do you say?
What am I saying?
Yeah.
That's not how the overreaction works here. Awthentik and The Beard. Nah, but on the real, I'm going to say that this is an overreaction. I think Terry McLaurin's going to get around 85 yards on the day.
See, listen, look, I'm right. Like, I'm on that line. You know what I'm saying? Because in the roadmap, you know, you running the ball so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of passing. But I want to see him get 100 yards. So I'm going to throw up the U.
All right, so the Beard says he's taking the under, and he thinks Terry McLaurin will get 100-plus yards receiving on Sunday versus the New York Giants. Waterfly says 94 yards.
94.
6 yards short. I hope the Beard's internet connection is holding up. I'm definitely getting some lags here, but the audio is hanging, so we're doing pretty good here. All right, so now let's go to my New York Giants in this matchup on Sunday here. Okay, let me get that Waterfly one off the screen real quick, so we get a little more space. I wore the wrong hoodie with the matchup for the color scheme that the graphics department hooked us up with here. It's not working out that well. But, you know, you got me here. I'm going to be reading these off to you for sure. All right, so let's go with this. Try to get y'all all different instrumentals for this one time. All right. This one's pretty interesting. Jake Fromm will throw for at least 175 passing yards on Sunday. If you think this is an overreaction, let me see some O's in the chat. And if you agree with the statement on the screen and you think Jake Fromm will get over 175 yards passing, I mean, it's not that crazy when you think about it. It's just regular NFL football here. Then let me know that you're going to take the under with a U in the chat. Let's see how the chat is populating one time. Zachary says overreaction. KHY001 says big overreaction. My man Stan Albert said, oh, like he was screaming at an Orioles game during the national anthem. Shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets. He says 3 O's on this one. That's a major overreaction. Renee Guzman says it's an overreaction. All right, everybody's saying this one's an overreaction. Marjorie, overreaction. Mr. Mini Guy, overreaction. Stan Albert, don't need even 10 seconds. Oh, Alex Hobson says, as a dedicated New York Giants fan, I must say overreaction. Waterfly in the building with the first under. Puts up 3 U's for the under. He thinks Jake Fromm will throw for 175 yards on Sunday versus the Washington football team. Sabrina says it's going to be an overreaction. Los Collect says, oh, what the hell, Awthentik? 80 yards max. I'm taking the over on that 80, Los, okay? I think that's like just a little too low for me. Zachary says, oh, joke. Oh, Jake Fromm will have sub 100 passing yards. Wow, y'all really got no faith in the kid. James Funk says overreaction. Blazing Serenade says overreaction. He's going to end up with 4 turnovers. MYG Jeff says, oh, with like 1,000 O's behind it. Big Los takes the under one time. Kevin the PRF says overreaction. Kareem Yee says overreaction. NYG Jeff says, be lucky if he gets 75 yards. Old man Rob just said, hell no, with O's in the no one time. Renee says, isn't it like 130 yards in 2 games? He has been pretty bad, Renee, for sure. He had 25 passing yards in his last start. Lucas says, Fromm could get 175 yards in a month, not 1 game. Shout out, Lucas. Monique takes the under one time. He's got a little bit of faith in the kid Fromm. And Alexis actually says, let's go with the under. Marjorie says, now, if it was Glennon, I would say negative 175 yards. Wow, that's crazy. Waterfly says 221 yards passing. Book it. Wow. I love that. Book it. Shout out my homie Tainer. Tainer's always saying, book it. I love that. Rachel says 94 yards falls short. This is an overreaction. Jay Jean in the building. Shout out Jay Jean. As long as it's better than negative 10 yards, I'll take it. Jameson says this is an overreaction. Big Low says we'll take the U 2 times. And that's all. That's every vote right there. So the Beard, you got enough time on that one. What you think about Jake Fromm getting over at least 175 yards passing?
I think he gets close. I don't think it's that bad. Like, the last 2 games. We talked about how Washington's pass defense is, pretty bad. The 3rd worst in the National Football League. But I don't think he gets to $175. I think he falls just short. I think he throws for about $170.
$170. Okay. I'm going to say if Jake Fromm gets to $170, I mean, come on, he's going to get to 175. I'm going to go ahead and just take the over. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say that this is not an overreaction. I'm going to take the under. And I'm going to go over that 175 yards. I think he will get at least 175 yards. I don't think this is an overreaction because, man, we're talking about an NFL caliber quarterback. They're just coming off of 2 games with each starting quarterback getting 25 yards. That's not going to cut it. Joe Judge's coaching life is on the line. He better find a way to get Jake Fromm not only 175 yards, but put one in the end zone. Book it. All right, so we got a bunch more to get through here. All right, we're going to fly through these a little bit faster. Let's get these submissions in fast from the chat one time, man. Appreciate everybody being here in the building one time across all platforms. Y'all know how that goes. Let's get this one set up here. All right, we'll go with this. Now, let's go to the running game for the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley will have another game with 100 rushing yards. Chat, what y'all think about this? Is this an overreaction? Saquon Barkley getting 100 yards or more against the Washington football team on Sunday? Or will he fall back to the regular ways of the 2021 season and not get 100 yards on the season here or in this game against Washington football team? Let me catch back up here. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says it's an overreaction. James Funk takes the overreaction. Waterfly, overreaction. Stan Albert, overreaction. Big Los, Marjorie, and Jameson, and Josie all take the under on this one. And they think Saquon Barkley will get to 100 yards against the Washington football team on Sunday. Alexis says this is an overreaction. Saquon, under 100. KHY takes the under one time, thinks Saquon Barkley has a chance to get over 100 yards. I'm going to tell you why I think Saquon will get over 100 yards when we're done with this, too, for sure. Who else we got here? Blazing Serenade says overreaction, but each drive ends up with 3 points only. Maybe he's taking the over the yards, though. I think that's what Blazing Serenade might have meant on that one. Kareem Yee says it's an overreaction. Rachel the Great says not happening. Renee says overreaction, but definitely gets 100 yards total from scrimmage. I like that. That's a good prediction there, too. Mr. Mini Guy says I'm taking the push. I just don't know. Kevin the PRF takes the under. He says he could get over 100 there. Los Collect says taking the under, he will do it for his contract. I like that. That's what's up. NYG Jeff takes the under. Lax044 takes the under. Alex Hobson takes the under. Marjorie says they will be running that ball. I agree with you on that. 40 rushes last game against the Chicago Bears. Jameson says, good night, guys. If I don't come back, Lucas and Lax044. I thought it was going to be if I don't come back, Awthentik and The Beard. But, it is what it is, Jameson. If you're not first, you're last, okay? You got to be the first guy in, last guy out when it comes to getting into this locker room here if you're going to be first, Jameson. But shout out to you, man. Have a good night, man. Appreciate you pulling up. The homie, old man Rob, takes the U and says has big runs against Washington. That's very true. Didn't have 100 yards in that first one, but definitely does have big runs. Stephen White says it's an overreaction. Zachary says overreaction. Freddie Kitchens loves to sub Barkley out for Booker. That's so true. And no Mets, no Nets, no Jets says this beat is 3 flames. Mr. Beard, what's your thoughts on Saquon? Oh, one more from Jay Jean. Jay Jean takes the under one time. What's your thoughts on Saquon?
I'm going to go with the exact same theory that Renee had. I think it's going to be he'll be under the 100 yards, so it's an overreaction, but I do think he gets over 100 total scrimmage yards.
I like that. I like that pick there. Stan Albert just chimed in, and this is exactly how I feel. I don't got to explain myself, actually, after reading this one. He says, I changed my mind. I'm taking the under. He can get 100 yards on 30 carries with Jake Fromm at quarterback. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Saquon Barkley's going to get a complete workload in this game with Jake Fromm at the quarterback position. You know, the Giants did rush the ball 40 times last game. And I'm looking for more of that this game. I don't know if it'll be, only 11 throws. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can maximize our drives and make them lengthy drives and get more touches for Saquon Barkley. I think he'll go over 150 total scrimmage yards in this game against the Washington football team.
Lucas brought up a good point, too. Judge took a jab at the two fighting on the sideline. They were D linemen. They'll be hungry for Barkley.
This is big facts. This is big facts. And Sabrina says it's an overreaction. All right. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. All right, we're making progress here. We're making progress here. Okay, this one was easy. NYG Jeff was talking about this one in the chat. Okay, so we'll just bring this one right up. Kenny Galladay will catch his first touchdown of the season. Is this an overreaction? Now, don't take the over if you think he's going to get the touchdown. If you think this is an overreaction and Kenny Galladay will not get his first touchdown, let me see some O's in the chat one time. And if you think Kenny Galladay will get his touchdown on Sunday against the Washington football team, first time touching the end zone as a New York Giant, let me see some U's in the chat for the under. And since my man No Mets, No Nets, No Jets like that last beat, we'll just run that one back one more time on him. Soulful, sultry, OG, grown man vibes on him one time. This one's called Love Who. Blazing Serenade says this is an overreaction. Kenny Galladay is not getting no touchdown on Sunday. Super O from KHY001. James Funk takes the under, along with Big Los. Kevin the PRF says this is an overreaction. Waterfly takes the under one time, and he thinks that Kenny Galladay will get a touchdown on Sunday versus the Washington football team. Los Collect says this is an overreaction, unfortunately, gang. Marjorie says she's taking the under for unfortunately. So that means Kenny Galladay might not get his touchdown. Alexis takes the U, thinks Kenny Galladay will get his first touchdown of the season. Sabrina says, nope, it's an overreaction. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says, nope, it's an overreaction. Old man Rob says it's an overreaction. I mean, he has had 16 games to get a touchdown. He hasn't played in 16 games, but he's had 16 weeks to get a touchdown and has not had one. Blazing Serenade says, overreaction, he catches it, but the refs overturn it because someone was holding.
Serenade gives you the exact, description of how it will happen but fail at the same time.
I love it. I love it, yo. I love it. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says, big thanks. Lax Ofofo says, this is an overreaction. Stan Albert, overreaction. He's checked out. I like that. Zachary says it's an overreaction. The Giants will go in a run-heavy set. That's a good point right there of why he won't get a touchdown. NYG Jeff says no way he's catching a touchdown. Renee Guzman says our corners struggle against the wide receiver type. That's a good point too. No chance, says Mike K. Overreaction. Lucas says overreaction for 0 touchdowns. Jameson says, I thought Jameson was going to bed, but he said overreaction. He's sleepwalking out here on Awthentik and The Beard chat right now. Who else we got in here? Jay Jean says, if we get any touchdowns, one will be from Galladay. From has turned into Fromm.
You're so Jake Fromm.
Straight up. Alex Hobson says, this is an overreaction. And the beat has finished. One more here we got from Monique. She's taking the under. She says Kenny Galladay is going to get a touchdown on Sunday against the Washington football team. The Beard, what you got?
Overreaction, man. Listen, you ain't got it yet. You ain't going to get it. Even though I said it's something that has to happen, it's never happened before to happen, but I don't think this one is going to be one of those things that happen. Yo,
that was crazy. That was crazy. got to clip that up, man. Shout out to the editing department because we're going to need that one clipped up. All right, so let's stay on this kind of a theme right here one time. Yo, that was crazy. That was crazy. All right, let's stay on this theme one time. So the New York Giants will score over 10 points on Sunday. If you think this is an overreaction and the Giants will not score over 10 points on Sunday, let me see some O's in the chat for this is an overreaction. We do things a little bit different over here at Awthentik and The Beard. If you think the Giants will score over 10 points on Sunday and you agree with the statement on here, let me see you take the under with some U's in the chat one time. You got about a good minute, chat. Let's get these submissions in before the Beard gets his and see what we looking like. Sabrina says she's taking the under and that the New York Giants will score over 10 points. She agrees with the statement on the screen. Kevin the PRF says that's an overreaction. KHY001 says small u. Small u.
Lowercase u.
There's a chance. This is lowercase u one time. Waterfly's taking the under, he says. And let me see. Let me roll back here. Waterfly's taking the under and says that the New York Giants will score over 10 points on Sunday. I don't know if some people might be getting a little bit confused here, but we'll see. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. I always want to say no Mets, no Jets, no Nets, but no Mets, no Nets, no Jets says this is an overreaction. What else we got here? Judge got to look at the tape. I like that. That's facts. James Funk takes the under, playing for some pride. That's a good point. That is a good point. Zachary says this is an overreaction. The Giants will have to get in the field goal range.
Some of these answers are hysterical.
They're so good.
Mike K. Wait till you get to Mike K.
Old man Rob says it's an overreaction. Blazing Serenade says he's taking the under. Gano hits 4 field goals. I like that. Stephen White says he's taking the under. We'll get 17 points. Monique takes the under. Alexis takes the under. NYG Jeff says, oh, hell no. We're not scoring over 10. Alex Hobson takes the under on this one. Renee Guzman takes the under. 17-15 Commanders. Jay Jean takes the under. Lucas takes the over. Stan, I knew Stan was going to take the over on this one time. NYG Jeff takes the over. He says this is an overreaction. Los Collect says this is an overreaction. 3 field goals, the New York field goal Giants. Yo, that's terrible. Not the New York football Giants, the New York field goal Giants. Alex says he's taking the under, but we are still losing. So he thinks we are going to score over 10 points in this one. Lax 044 says Gano will kick 5 field goals. He's taking the under on this one. Mike K says this is an overreaction. We aren't even getting past the 50. Oh, my God, that's crazy. Jameson Taylor still in the building says he's taking this one as an overreaction. Renee Guzman says over. He corrected it. Overreaction. Mr. Mini Guy says this is an overreaction. Who else we got in here? Lucas says the Giants baseball team will score more points than the Giants football team. 4 to 8 inches of snow coming in a few hours, Lucas. No, you jealous. Oh, that's facts right there. I thought that you was going to be for the U for the under one time. And let's see. I think that's all of them. That's every vote. So, Mr. Beard, what you got on this one? Are the Giants going to score over 10 points, or is this an overreaction?
No, it's an underreaction. I think they get to 12 points.
two over. So are we looking at how are they going to get to 12? You looking at 4 field goals, or are we looking at a touchdown, field goal, and a safety?
No, we're looking at that sounds like a Beard way, but no. We're going to go 2 field goals, a touchdown, and a failed 2-point conversion.
Wait, hold on. Say this again. Say that again.
2 field goals.
2 field goals.
6. A touchdown. That's 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, but it failed 2-point conversion.
Okay, maybe a missed extra point or something like that. Graham gonna miss an extra point, huh? All right. So now we get to some interesting ones. Some of these, let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna throw a couple different ones outside of our matchup in first, okay? I know Monique's gonna like this one. The Cowboys are going to win at least 1 playoff game this year. Is this an overreaction? If you think the Cowboys are not going to win 1 playoff game this season, let me see some O's in the chat. If you think the Cowboys are going to win at least 1 playoff game this year, and you agree with the statement on the screen, let me see some U's in the chat to let me know you taking the under. can't take the push on this. I'm not asking you this no more. This is the only time you're going to get this one. I don't know where BB Jones is and where Monique is, but let's see what we talking here. All right. Jay Jean said, hell nah, not up in here. Monique says she's taking the under. Okay, she does not think that this is an overreaction. The Cowboys are going to win at least one playoff game this year. She thinks that is facts, and she agrees with the statement on the screen. Kevin, the PRF, also thinks the Cowboys are going to win one playoff game this year. Waterfly says this is an overreaction. Tom's World, shout out Tom's World in the building one time. He says this is an overreaction. The Cowboys will not win one playoff game this year. James Funk takes the under. Alexis takes the under as well, both thinking that the Cowboys will win one game this year. Los Collects says overreaction. Cowgirls taking an L. Sabrina says she hopes it's an overreaction. I feel you on that. Mike K is taking the under on this one and says the Cowboys will win at least one game. Alex Hobson says he's going to need a little bit of time to think on this one. Is going to take the push on this one. Stan Albert says he's taking the under versus Philly. He's versus Philly, versus Arizona. Okay, I got you. Okay, so you're taking the under if they play Philly, but you think it's an overreaction if they're going to play the Cardinals. I like that. I like that. Could be one and done right there if they play the Cardinals. Zachary says it's an overreaction. Dak has been off these past couple of weeks. That's very true. Marjorie says she's taking the under. The Cowboys are going to win at least one playoff game. Stephen White says way under, y'all. Cowboys are going to win some games here. Blazing Serenade says it's an overreaction. And shout out to Maria in the building one time. Cowboys fan as well says this is an underreaction. The Cowboys are going to win at least one playoff game. Mr. Mini Guy agrees with Maria and says they ain't going to the Super Bowl, though. That sounds like the biggest hater comment in the world, Mr. Mini Guy. Yeah, but y'all ain't going to the Super Bowl, though. I can't wait to say that in somebody's face. Old Man Rob takes the under one time. Kareem Yee says it's an overreaction. KHY001 says Cowboys all the way. This is not even a real question. Straight up. I like that. What else we got in here? Lucas says he's taking the under. I think they deserve it, even though they're annoying. That's so true. Who else we got in here? Marjorie also says this is how I was thinking too. If they play Philly, that they'll get the W. Stephen White says W. I like that. You see the pun I got a rap that says something like that. W, you know. I don't even want to give you all the bars today. Maybe on another episode of Awthentik and The Beard. But he's going with the W bars right there. Stephen White, great minds think alike. I like that. And Mark Primetime 21, under, still looking for some respect. Put some respect on their name one time on the Cowboys. And all of our submissions look to be in. The Beard, what you think about the Cowboys winning a playoff game? The Cowboys are going to win at least one playoff game this year. Is this an overreaction, or are you taking the under?
It's an overreaction. I think the Eagles win more playoff games this year than the Cowboys do. Boom.
Boom.
On the beat drop, son.
I like it. Not a beat drop, but a fade out to let you know things are real over here. All right, so we got a couple of more here. I'm going to stick with the script of the NFC East teams that are actually in the playoffs. And this one is kind of dedicated to the matchup between these two teams on Saturday at 8 p.m. Don't forget, we're going to have some NFL football on Saturday. I want to say it's a doubleheader, I believe. Yeah, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the Broncos on Saturday as well. Now, let me see the chat talking. Here. That is not the answer. That is not the answer to the question. Beard said, boom. Shout out Old Man Rob. Shout out Monique one time in the building. I see Nate Talks Football just pulled up in the building. I just won't believe the Cowboys will win a playoff game until they do. I feel you on that, Nate. We got a lot more overreactions to go over here. So, definitely stick tight here, man. And tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hop on Twitter right now and tell them Awthentik and The Beard are doing some over-unders like the giant overreaction vibes. And we got 3 major trivia questions coming up at the end of the show as well. All right, so let's keep this pushing. Like I said, we're going to keep the theme going here with the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a really good one. I like this one. I like how you got to move out the way, but I got you. Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott on Sunday versus the Cowboys. If you agree with the statement on the screen, let me see some U's in the chat to let me know you're taking the under. If you think that it is, in fact, a overreaction that Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott on Sunday, let me see those major O's in the chat for this is an overreaction. If you need a push until maybe the game is over and you just ain't got confidence in your pick, then let me see them hand emojis or maybe the P in the chat one time. The Beard, we're going to let you get your thoughts together while we go to the chat one time and rock to the sounds of Awthentik. This one's got NFL films written all over it. All right. So, my man Nate Talks Football says, damn, that's a spicy one. like a spicy chicken sandwich.
Like a spicy chicken.
All right, no Mets, no Nets, no Jets says he's taking the under on this one, and Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards. Monique says, no way, this is an overreaction. Kareem Yee takes the under one time and thinks Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Zeke. Stan Albert feels the exact same way. Waterfly says he's going to need the push one time. Nate Talks Football just says flame emoji. We're going to see where he's at as far as the over-under here in a second. Mr. Mini Guy says, no way, this is an overreaction, cuz. KHY001 says, as a Cowboys fan, I must say you. Oh, he thinks that Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott on Sunday. This is probably my favorite over-under right here. This was a really good one.
It's a great one.
Stephen White says he's taking the over on this. This is an overreaction. Shout out to Santino one time in the building. He says he's taking the under. Zeke is washed up. And James Funk says he's taking the under as well. He thinks that Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott. Nate Talks Football has got an expletive on his vote. I'm not going to highlight that when he says, I'm going to take that freaking U, baby. And Sabrina says she's taking the U as well. Her and Nate Talks Football both think Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott. Alexis says this is an overreaction. Alex Hobson's taking the big U, thinks Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott. Marjorie also takes the U, along with Blazing Serenade. Fletcher Cox going to feast if he clears protocol. Lucas says he's going to need the push. Great question, though. Josephine, which I never called Josie in the building one time, says she's taking the U. She thinks that Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott. Jay Jean feels the exact same way as Josie, and so does Zachary. Pollard is a better runner than Zeke, and Jalen will rush for 2 touchdowns. Stephen White says, I'm changing my mind. I'm taking the under. He agrees with the statement that Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott. Monique says, I feel like there's a lot of hate in this chat today. Welcome to Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show, not on television, the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard. The Beard, let me see if we got any more. KHY001 says, I've been screaming trade Zeke since the holdout he had. Beard, what you got on this one? Jalen Hurts will have more rushing yards than Zeke Elliott on Sunday. Do you agree with the statement on the screen and are going to take the under, or are you going to say that this is an overreaction? He's going to turn into an O? No.
The U.
The U.
Listen, it might not be a lot. It might not be a lot, but I think, listen, Zeke is, the dude's got like one 100-yard game in the last 46 games. So, Jalen Hurts might have more rushing yards on the season than Ezekiel Elliott.
That's a good question. That is a really good question. How about while I do the next setup, you look that up? Actually, no. Let me look.
Nah, Zeke has the 915 yards and Jalen Hurts has 784 yards.
It's pretty
but
close,
listen
man.
to this: Jalen Hurts has done that on 139 carries.
Yeah, but you know how that is. Quarterbacks, their yards per carry is always higher.
Yeah, but then and then Zeke has 219 carries to get to 915.
That's not bad, though. For a quarterback, that's solid. That's solid rushing statistics for sure. All right, let's see here. Okay, so we got a couple more of these over-unders we're going to do before we get into the 3 trivia questions, and then we're going to wrap this show up. So let me see. How many more do I got? Did the 10 points for the New York Giants. Oh, this one is good. This one is good. All right. The Giants will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback. Do you think this is an overreaction? If you think it is an overreaction, let me see a O in the chat. If you want to take the under and you think that this is not an overreaction, and you think that the Giants will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback, let me see some U's in the chat. Give the chat a little bit of time to populate. And we'll see how this one
They better.
goes. James Funk says they better. I think he's taking the U on this one. Waterfly is taking the U on this one. He says the Giants will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback. CJ Talks Movies. Shout out to CJ Talks Movies one time in the building. He's got an awesome channel over there as well. Make sure to go sub up to CJ Talks Movies. He says he's taking the overreaction on this one. KHY001 also takes the overreaction. Stephen White takes the under on this one. He thinks the Giants will draft a quarterback at some point in 2022. Nate Talks Football says, man, I was so confident in my answer to this until like this week. Still going to go overreaction. I've been trying to convince people that why the Giants should draft a quarterback in this draft. I think it just yields better for them to have a quarterback sit 1 year behind Daniel Jones before then trying to make him the guy. I think 3 seasons has been enough to kind of know what you're going to get out of Daniel Jones for sure. James Funk takes the under on this one and agrees with the statement on the screen that the Giants will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback. Stan Albert says it's an overreaction, but I want it to be, well, he says, I want it to be a U so bad. Malik Willis, baby. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the Giants can get Malik Willis in the second round. We shall see. Kareem Yee says this is an underreaction. Marjorie, under. Old Man Rob says, God, I hope not. Blazing Serenade says this is an overreaction. They trade them both and say quads for Russell and doom us all. Oh, okay. So Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones and possibly a pick. Maybe saying both picks.
Yeah.
I am talking about the whole draft on this statement here, but maybe he's talking about them first 2 picks and bring in Russell Wilson. In that case, they still wouldn't draft a quarterback, so you are correct on that. He says it's an overreaction. CJ Talks Movies says no way. Zachary says he's taking the under. The Giants will get Kenny Pickett. I want Malik, but I'm being realistic. Lax 044 says it's an overreaction. Shout out to homie Finesse AJ one time. Yo, every time I log into my Xbox, I still got AJ's Xbox account still logged into my Xbox, man. Salute to you for holding me down on NBA 2K, Madden, all of that stuff for that season. I definitely appreciate it. He says, only way I see that is if Malik Willis slips. Definitely feel you on that. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says overreaction. Overreaction. Giants can't get right. Waterfly says Pickett in the second round. Under. Alex says, depends on if Judge is still the coach. Nate Talks Football says, I don't think we should, but I could see us doing it. Alexis says she's taking the under and agrees with the statement on the screen. Marjorie says, we must also consider DJ's neck issues as a deciding factor. Monique in the building says, overreaction, but I agree they better. They have 2 first-round picks. Watch them trade again. That is an option for the New York Giants. Sabrina says this is an overreaction. No quarterback worthy of top 10 pick. Yeah, but we're not saying top 10 pick. We're saying in the entire draft here, if the Giants will draft a quarterback in this draft. No quarterback worthy of a top 10 pick. That might be the case, though. I think I agree with you on that. Marjorie corrected her deciding to let y'all know her spelling is not as bad as you once thought. Shout out Marjorie one time in the building. Jay Jean agrees with Alex Hobson. If Judge is coach, it's an overreaction. Nate's got some more information about Malik Willis. Big Low says it's an overreaction. I think they use a pick to trade for a quarterback. And I think we got, Stan Albert. He said, screw it. I'm going to take the U. You got 5 picks in the first 75 picks. Go get Malik Willis. Go get Malik Willie Beeman Willis. I like that. Willis Beeman. Awesome. So, The Beard, what you think about this one? The Giants will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback. Is this an overreaction, or are you taking the under?
Okay, I'm about ready to drop a bomb. Somebody get Funk Flex on the phone. The New York Giants will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback, but it will not be a rookie quarterback. They will be spending their draft picks by sending them to the Minnesota Vikings for Kirk Cousins.
That is crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy.
You heard it here first.
You did hear it here first, okay? Remember this, editing department will need you to clip this one, chop this one up, make sure we got this one in the bag, because the Beard just dropped the bomb on the New York Giants and said that we are going to trade a draft pick for Kirk Cousins. I don't see the Minnesota Vikings doing that. Marjorie said, no, please. Nate Talks Football said, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Having a lot of fun here today in the chat one time, man. All right, so we just got a couple more of these, man. We're flying through these. Let's see here. Oh, did we get another one in the comment section?
The comment section right now is on fire.
Kareem Yee said a big fart bomb.
Oh, man.
Yo, and Kevin said the Beard's internet is still down. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Stan Albert said, no! I feel you on that, yo. Kirk Cousins quarterback 1 sounds depressing. If it was like 3 years ago, I wouldn't be so upset at that take, but that take does sound a little wild. Beard, you had me and lost me, dog. That's the old Randy Jackson. It's going to be a no for me, dog. Yeah, I think the Giants are going to spend the draft pick 2022 on a quarterback. I think it'll happen in the second round. I think some guys got to fall there. Kenny Pickett, possibly Malik Willis, we'll see. Matt Corral, we'll see. All right, we got a couple more, like I said, before we get up out of here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more to go, all right? Let's stick with the quarterback theme here one time. Taylor Heineke will not be the starting quarterback for Washington in 2022. Is this an overreaction? Or are we going to take the under, chat? Let's get these submissions in pretty quick. We'll see how things are looking over here one time. Zachary says new GM will want his own quarterback in reference to the last question about the Giants drafting a quarterback in the 2022 draft. Nate talks football in early with the vote. He's taking the under and agrees with the statement on the screen. Kareem Yee agrees with the statement on the screen as well. We got a lot of U's. KHY's got a U. Stan Albert's got a U. J. Jean's got a U. KHY's got the U. Mr. Mini Guy says, I don't know. I'm not a President's fan. James Funk says if they want to win, they're going to take one. He's taking the U on this one time. J. Jean says they love him, but I think she might mean that this is no reaction then if they're going to bench him. Or he. I'm not even sure if J. Jean is I'll be just assuming people by the name and whatnot. I'm not too sure, J. Jean. But yeah, J. Jean says taking the under, they love them some Taylor Heineke. Kevin the PRF says, you, like he is Soldier Boy, and says, let me see those U's in the chat. CJ Talks Movies says, I'm going with the overreaction. He thinks Taylor Heineke will be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team next season. Old man Rob says he's taking under. Washington will select a quarterback in the draft. And J. Jean meant it's an overreaction. Alex Hobson takes the U and says Taylor Heineke will not be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team in 2022. Marjorie says that is a sad take, but I believe Washington football team will take a quarterback in the draft. Monique says she's taking the U. I think that they'll play him like Cousins. Maybe a franchise tag kind of vibe. I think would they sign him for 2 years? I think got a 2-year deal.
Absolutely, they'll not franchise.
Yeah, I don't think they'll franchise tag him either. Zachary says he's taking the under. The football team will draft Matt Corral. And Stephen White says this is an overreaction. And J. Jean said, and I'm a dude. Get it correct, Awthentik. Yeah. Yo, I did that to who'd I do that to one time? I did that to somebody on Twitter one time. Highlighted their comment on a giant overreaction, and I was like, she. I should have learned my lesson that day. But J. Jean says, yeah, I'm a dude, like Jay-Z vibes one time. So shout out J. Jean one time in the building. Took them 2 years to get there, Monique said about Kirk Cousins. The Beard, what you got on this one? Do you think this is an overreaction about Taylor Heineke will not be the starting quarterback?
No, it's an underreaction. There's no way Taylor Heineke is a starting quarterback for the Washington football team next year. Unless, injury or...
Yeah, we can rule the injury part out. We're talking barring no injury.
Okay.
Intention of him being a starter.
I say you, but then the more I think about it, if they draft if they draft him,
will he start?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with you, but it's unfortunately it's a possibility that he is the starting quarterback.
I'm gonna say it's an overreaction. I think Taylor Heineke will be back as the starter next year. But I don't think it'll last the whole season. I think it'll start about 8-9 games.
Look at what old man Rob said.
Old man Rob says Washington will trade the first round pick. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I gave y'all something to run with for the next couple of weeks.
Let me put something on Twitter here real quick. Sorry. I want to just, let people know we're about to do some trivia here one time.
Okay, I thought you were letting people know that I told everybody about the breaking news.
I should let people know about that because that was crazy. Kirk Cousins.
I know people are gonna be like, oh, well, they don't have the cap space. Listen. Cap space, snap space. Okay.
Cap space, snap space. Yo, he said you heard it here first. Book it, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Okay. All right, man. Well, I got a couple of more. Just wanted to get a little blast out there to Twitter real quick one time. I definitely wanted all the Giants Nation that follows all these tweets to pull up on some of these over-unders, man. These have definitely been a blast so far. I still think that Jalen Hurts, more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott, was probably the best one. Okay, so we kind of talked about this one a little bit, so I'm going to remove this one. Because I did have this one. I did have this one up here too. Washington will spend one of their 2022 draft picks on a quarterback. I think we kind of got the general consensus of that answer from the last question. Y'all know what it is. We don't even got to do this one for real, okay? Let's go to the coaching department now for both of these teams, for the Washington football team and the New York Giants one time. We'll go with this one right here. This was the Beard's favorite beat when I made this one. I remember when we first pulled up with this joint. All right, so do you want to start with the New York Giants coaching staff or you want to start with the Washington football team coaching staff? We're going to end it with two statements on the screen that are either overreactions or unders. You want to start with Washington coaching staff or New York Giants coaching staff?
Let's start with Washington.
All right. Ron Rivera's job security in Washington is not in question. Is this an overreaction, or are you going to agree with the statement on the screen and take the under?
You asking me now?
We'll let the chat get it popping first. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll come back over to you, and the Washington Beards and get your answer over there. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says he's taking the under on this one. Ron Rivera's job security in Washington is not in question. He agrees with the statement on the screen, and he's taking the under. Sabrina is saying this is an overreaction. Ron Rivera's job security is not safe in Washington. James Funk in the building one time. He's taking the under. Old man Rob is taking the under. Agrees with the statement on the screen. Kareem Yee says this is an overreaction. Alexis is taking the under and says Ron Rivera's job security in Washington is not in question. Blazing Serenade is taking the under, says Ron Rivera's doing pretty good. Monique says she's taking the under one time. Marjorie says she's taking the under. And I like how KHY says this. I'll take a you, please. Like it's a vowel one time. Shout out KHY in the building one time. Zachary says he's taking the under. Dan Snyder is not John Mara. That's facts. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to Dan Snyder. Nate Talks Football says this is an overreaction, but definitely a lowercase o. I like that one time. Stephen White is taking the under and agrees with the statement on the screen. Zeke Anderson is taking the under the C. Ron Rivera's job security in Washington is not in question, and he thinks that he agrees with the statement on the screen one time. Stan Albert's taking the U. Probably after next season the seat gets warm. He does have a division title under his belt without stable quarterback play. Let's not forget that division title came with 7 wins on the year, but shout out to Stan Albert taking the under on this one. Mr. Mini Guy is also taking the under along with Raziel the Great. The Beard, I think you've had enough time here one time to come up with your answer on this one. Ron Rivera's job security in Washington is not in question. The Beard is taking the under on this one and agrees with the statement on the screen. So that does it for the head coach of the Washington football team. We are going to close out this over-under segment as soon as my mouse gets back to working. I think the battery might have died here. Let's try that again. And come on, baby. Come on, baby. I need you. I need you for the rest of the show. Oh, man, I think my batteries are dead. So, Beard, oh, no, we're going to have to replace these batteries. So, look, I'm going to need you to go solo screen real quick one time. Hold it down for the chat. And you can bring up the next over-under, which is right above this one, I believe.
Okay.
And go solo screen real quick. I need to swap out these batteries in this mouse.
All right, you got it. You got it. Here we go.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Always. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The next over-under question is going to be for all of you New York Field Goal Giant fans. Joe Judge will be fired before the beginning of the 2022 season. If you believe that Joe Judge will be fired before the beginning of next season, put a U in the chat. If you think Joe Judge will be your head coach starting the 2022 season, put a O in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! Welcome to another edition
better at
of
this than
Over
I am,
Under
bro.
with Awthentik and The Beard. Brought to you by Awthentik and The Beard. Oh, listen. We got some pushes. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets with the push. Oh, man. Mr. Mini Guy with the push. Come on, guys. Monique came and said it's an overreaction that Joe Judge will be the coach beginning of the 2022 season. Where did all these pushes come from? I didn't even give you guys the option for a push. You guys have been watching so much giant overreaction, you just assumed that pushes were allowed. Okay. James Funk says, get him out of here. He's horrible. Capital U. Kevin the PRF says, oh, unless Gettleman goes first. Woo. Jason Thomas jumps in with a U. Blazing Serenade says, when does the 2022 season start? Because I'm pretty sure he's going to get gone once Washington beats the Giants. Bubs says, I'm hoping so. Raziel the Great says, sadly, you. This is John Mara we're talking about here. Sabrina is dropping the O. Thinks that Joe Judge will be back next season. Lax Ofofo says, I don't think Mara wants to fire a third coach after 2 seasons. That is a great point. Very, very valid. Zachary says, not because John Mara doesn't want to fire a coach after 2 seasons, but because John Mara is on drugs and called him Baby Belichick. And Los Collects says, overreaction. Gotta love the tape review from Judge. Well, right there, right here. What does he say? Is it right here or right there? I can't remember, but it's one of those, right? Stephen White says, it's an overreaction. Joe Judge will be back for the 2022 season. Kareem says, please let it happen. And Senk Zappa is in the building, says, if they were going to fire him, they would have done it already. That's interesting. Jason Thomas says, I'm a Raiders fan, so I got no skin in the game. Lucas from Australia says, only because I'm not that lucky. Jay Jean says, at this point, Mara couldn't fire a can of gasoline. Oh, here we go. Marjorie says, I am hoping he is gone this Monday, but Alexis with the green vomit emoji head. And Old Man Rob says, hell effing yes. And here comes Stan with the end of the road, Joe. I was going to take the push, but he self-destructed in that press conference, and Mara doesn't like to be embarrassed, and mainstream media started dragging Joe. Another very solid point. Nate says 100% push. I don't think we're allowing pushes, but we'll let you get your push in. Mr. Mini Guy says, hey, the Beard, if you want to trade Ron Rivera for Joe Judge, I'm cool with it. I'm going to have to. What is Randy Jackson says, it's going to be a no for me, dog. Sorry about that. Raziel says, I meant, John Mara is not that guy. Right there. Here we come. There we go. Right there. John Mara is a clown. Who is worse, Snyder or Mara? Snyder's worse because he's a dirtbag. Mara's just not really all there mentally, but Dan Snyder's a dirtbag, so I guess on technicality. All right.
All right, so we got the vibes from the chat. Had to swap out the mouse. Batteries was looking crazy one time. So Joe Judge will be fired before the beginning of the 2022 season. I heard about half of what was going on with the chat. What's the general consensus you got from the chat?
The general consensus is most people want U's, but they don't believe in it. They believe in the O, but they want the U. So, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I listen, I've been saying that the second that they said that Joe Judge will be back next year was the second I believe that he's going to be fired at the end of the year.
You did say that. You did say that.
So that's been my belief this whole time. So I really think, Joe Judge will be fired most likely within the next week or two. So I am going to take the U.
I'm with you on that. This is not an overreaction. Joe Judge will be fired. It's been too ugly, and I think that the game against Washington football team on Sunday will be the cherry on top. And you will see Joe Judge not on the New York Giants staff in 2022. That has been the Giant and the Washington overreaction. It was a good one. I think the Beard did a really good job. Shout out to the chat one time for holding us down. Said, from your lips to God's ears, Beard, let us all hope and pray.
Yeah, or else
y'all know what it is.
or else you guys are gonna end up with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback.
Oh my God! We got to get the editing department on that one. Chop that one up. Rachel the Great says, "Wait, what if by some miracle they win this game? Judge gets an extension." I like that. All right, so. Now, I told y'all before we were going to end the show with 3 trivia questions here. I'm going to take the Beard back all the way to season 1 of Awthentik and The Beard one time. I got to upload a couple of graphics because I didn't want the Beard to see some of these answers. This should just take 2 seconds real quick. We get these.
Wait, do we still have the music for it?
Relax, man. You know I got this, bro. I talked to the graphics department, the music department. You know, they were like, yo, heard you guys are switching up a little bit on the format on Thursday's show. You know, you guys need anything from the music department and the graphics department? I said, yeah, y'all know what it is, man. This is Awthentik and The Beard, bro. So we're going to take y'all back. I'm talking about way back, 2019, season 1. What you know about this? Trivia time. What you know. Only the day ones know about this music right here and that logo right there. It is trivia time on Awthentik and The Beard. So the way it's going to work today, we're doing an edition of Who Am I? You're going to get at least 3 hints on the screen, and I promise you these won't be as hard on the eyes. These are actually in the color of white on the font. This should help you guys out a lot here. But we're going to have 3 Who Am I's. These are players for the New York Giants and the Washington football team. And let's get this show started without further ado. You know what I'm going to do with this trivia time music for next season? I'm going to trap it out. I'm going to put some trap drums over the jazz flutes. You heard it here first on Awthentik and The Beard, man. You know what it is. So we're going to start with the first player. Who Am I works like this. We're going to state a couple accomplishments, maybe some statistics, maybe some teams this person played for. And we'll see if the chat can get the answer before the Beard gets the answer live on air on the best television show, not on television. Awthentik and The Beard. Y'all know what it is. So let's get this show on the road. The first player. I had 5 seasons in Washington with at least 1,000 receiving yards. I became the first person to have their jersey retired for James Madison University. How you feeling over there, Beard?
It's got to be an old person.
All right. I was selected 6th overall by the Bulls of the USFL and led them in receiving and receptions, I might add, as a rookie before going to the NFL. Those are your 3 hints for
Gary Clark.
Who Am I? And the Beard comes in with his submission as Gary Clark. I don't know if the chat beat you here. I do see Kevin the PRF submitted Gary Clark. If that answer is right, we had Santana Moss. We had Art Monk. We had Art Monk from James Funk. Who else did we have as far as guesses go? Santana Moss, then Sank said, never mind. Shout out Sank Zappo one time in the building. And Zachary said Pierre Garcon. USFL, don't forget, that was Donald Trump's league. USFL. Nate Talks Football said, literally the only James Madison player I know when he submitted the legend Jimmy Moreland.
There's actually I want to say there's another Charles Haley, I think, might have his jersey retired by James Madison too.
Let me see something. Let me see something on them statements there, because I did my due diligence with the research. I became the first person. Yeah, so he was the first person.
First person, yeah.
Yup, he was the first person. He was also selected 6th overall by the Bulls of the USFL. They were in Jacksonville and led them in receiving as a rookie. So the Beard said Gary Clark, but I don't know if he was peeking at the chat or not. I don't know if Kevin the PRF might have got that answer in first, but the answer is Gary Clark, wide receiver of the Washington football team, formerly known as. So I'll give you a push on that one. I'll give you a push because I saw Kevin. So
I have to be. If I feel like I have an answer, I just gotta get it out because I'm going.
Got to get it before the chat.
People.
Yes, yes, it's you versus the 60 people. All right, so let me see what the chat talking though before I go to the next one. Stephen White said he was peeking. He was peeking, bro.
No peeking.
Rachel the Great says it was Gary Clark for sure. Zachary tried to get a second guess with Antoine Randall L. Came up short on that one. He said those are the only players I know. That's fact. And Rachel said this player came out in the 80s. That was definitely fact. It was Gary Clark. Solid one. I did not know that he was the first player to have his number retired at James Madison University. I didn't even know he went to James Madison University.
See, listen, I knew it was old when it was 5 seasons of 1,000 yards receiving because there's nobody there. Like, no, who else could have possibly done that?
That's big facts, man. Gary Clark, man, he was a baller for the Washington football team. He signed with the Redskins in 1985 after playing his rookie season in the USFL. Had a superb rookie season with the Washington football team, formerly known as. He recorded 72 receptions for 926 yards, so he could have had a 6th 1,000-yard season. He just missed it by about 70-something yards there. He had 5 touchdowns his rookie season as well. And he played for Washington for 8 seasons from 1985 to 1992. All right, let's get into this next one time. Don't be looking at these answers, all right? Don't be peeking at the chat.
Listen, man, my hands are I'll put my hands here.
Need a blindfold.
Sometimes
right?
I feel like I look like Adam Sandler and Billy Madison right now for some reason. I don't know why.
With the backwards hat vibes. Yeah, I feel you. I definitely feel you. Okay, so we got a Washington football team player out of the way. Let's go to another team here. So the first hint is I am a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. Your second hint is I had 2 seasons with the New York Giants where I rushed for over 1,000 yards. Okay.
Tiki Barber is my answer.
Tiki Barber. Okay. Tiki Barber's his answer on the beat drop. Getting that jazz flute one more time, music
Jazz
department.
Flute, jazz flute.
I signed with the 49ers after 7 years with the Giants, but did return to New York to retire
I might be wrong
in 2014.
I'm wrong, aren't I?
I already see someone in the chat has beaten you. Nate Talks Football says it was Ahmad Bradshaw. Max044 also said Ahmad Bradshaw. KHY also said Ahmad Bradshaw. Old Man Rob said Bradshaw.
Yeah,
And look, Jay Jean said Tiki ain't had a Super Bowl. He mad and salty for that.
Forgot about that. Yes, okay, I botched it.
Marjorie said Bradshaw.
I was trying to beat. I realized I had to be quick because everybody in the chat was going to jump in.
You can say more than one answer on this version, but I feel you. You tried to stick with your answer. James Funk said Ron Dane. And let's go to the first person who got this one right.
The 49ers one is kind of crazy.
Let's see. I
don't remember any of those people playing for the 49ers.
And okay, I do got who got the answer correct. Let's reveal the answer. Let me just get this off the screen real quick. And the answer. There was another hint. There was another hint, I believe, for this player. I once was in the same backfield with Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown.
In college?
Hey. It doesn't say in college or the NFL. Look at that face, puzzled. Since the answer has already been said and you've already lost the beard, we'll go with the answer and reveal the answer. The answer is Brandon Jacobs for the New York Giants, number 27, running back, along with first-round draft picks Carnell Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, and Jason Campbell. Jacobs was the third-string running back behind Williams and Brown. Jacobs gained 446 yards on 72 carries and 2 touchdowns in 2003 for the Tigers. Beard, you lose.
I lose.
So you're down one. Now you got one more because I gave you the push on the first one. You got one more. I gave you we gave you the Gary Clark vibes with Washington. Oh, and let me send a salute to the homie who got it right in the chat first. It was my man, Stan Albert, one time. Shout out Stan Albert one time for putting that Brandon Jacobs in the chat first. He put it in the chat twice, as a matter of fact. And second to put it in the chat was, I was going to say it was Rachel. It was Lucas, all the way from Australia, in the building one time. Also said Jacobs as well. So, the Beard, you got one more shot for a push for this trivia version, this trivia time version on Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show not on TV. Let's see. The Beard, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Chat, let me see some biceps in the chat one time if you are ready. Left side, strong side of the building. Y'all know what it is. Alexis says, I have Jacobs 1 in the red jersey. Loved his style of running. I loved his style of running too, man. Bruiser back. Brandon Jacobs is my girlfriend's favorite player one time. Oh, man, Rob. Stan Albert with the biceps in the chat one time. Y'all know what it is, man. Left side, strong side, the best division in football, the best television show not on TV. We're just buying some time here for some commercials on television here before we get to this last
just
question.
Came in with the O.
Tim came in with the O. Overreaction one time on your Tiki Barber pick. Maria with the biceps. Marjorie with the biceps. Saint Zappa with the biceps. Cooking, so I can't comment, but I'm ready anyway. He says, shout out Saint Zappa. All right, this one's a little bit easier. It's a good question. This one relates to both New York Giants and the Washington football team, I believe. Let's go with our first hint here. Make sure I got the right stuff. So we got that one. There are 4 hints for this player here. Let's keep an eye on the chat. I wish I could pop out the chat one time so I could do these graphics and look at the chat at the same time, but I will look after the Beard's guesses and after these hints. So the first hint. I only played for 2 teams in my career, Washington and the New York Giants. I wish I could see these a little bit before I show them. I want to go with the easier ones first. All right. Secondly, I think this is right. I was signed as an undrafted rookie free agent in 2001. I love these because they don't give it away right away. You gotta have some real football knowledge to know who we're talking about this early in on the hints. Let me check the chat. No one's gotten the answer right yet in the chat so far. I love the answers I'm seeing so far, though. Okay. In 2006, I had a career best 138 tackles, and I was invited to the Pro Bowl as an
Antonio
alternate.
Pierce.
The Beard submits his guess with Antonio Pierce. which I have not seen in the chat so far. I see Cardinal Rule popped in with Felipe Sparks. Shout out to Jordan Sparks' father. Nice new picture you got going on there, Cardinal Rule. Looking real fresh there, man. Background looking dope. And let's get the last clue out of the way before we reveal the answer. I am not LeVar Arrington, but I was on the same team with him 2 different times. And the Beard guest, Antonio Pierce. Oh, yeah! He is correct.
That one, listen. Because there's only a few out there that now the 2000 thing helped me because didn't Carl Banks play for the Giants and Washington also? But I think he played for another team as well.
That's I'm not too sure if I don't think Carl Banks went over to y'all after playing for the Giants. I think he retired a Giant.
And then obviously LeVar Arrington came across my mind, but then the undrafted part. So then the 2006 Pro Bowl
Carl
thing.
Banks was with Washington in 1993 for 1 season, and then he finished his career out with the Cleveland Browns for 2 seasons.
Gotcha.
So you were right.
But then the undrafted free agents, and then the Pro Bowl thing. That's undrafted free agent eliminated LeVar Arrington in the Pro Bowl 2006.
Yep.
Had to be Antonio Pierce.
You know what I'm in looking up and doing research for these answers here. LeVar Arrington was on the let me double check that. I know LeVar Arrington was on the 2006 New York Giants, I believe. So I think he was just 1 year short from getting a ring with the Giants in 07, just like Tiki Barber. Let's see here.
LeVar Arrington, I think, is underrated because he came in with so much hype, but he was a good football player.
He was a really good football player, and that is correct. He did retire after the 2006 season, missing out on a ring with the New York Giants, but he didn't really have that great of a year in 2006 with the New York Giants. Only started 5 games and played in 6, registered 16 tackles, combined 14 solo tackles, and he had 1 sack on the year. LeVar Arrington's standout year was 2002. He had 11 sacks on the year with 95 tackles. He came into the league, man, his sophomore year and his junior year with 90-plus tackles. So that does it for this edition of Trivia Time with your boy Awthentik and The Beard, man. We appreciate y'all participating tonight. Definitely wanted to keep the vibes very loose, very fun going into this game on Sunday against the Washington football team. We appreciate all of y'all pulling up tonight, man. This was a really fun one. The answers tonight were Gary Clark for the Washington football team, Brandon Jacobs for the New York Giants, and Antonio Pierce, who represented both teams, was signed as a free agent with the Washington football team in 2001. And the Beard did beat all y'all in the chat. I did notice that. The first person that I saw in the chat to say Antonio Pierce, I think it was Lax 044. Yeah. I think it was. Let me roll back. Yep, it was Lax 044 at 9:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Submitted Antonio Pierce, and Ryan C. also pulled up in the building and submitted Antonio Pierce as well. Man, so that's going to do it, y'all, for this fantastic episode of Awthentik and The Beard, the best division in football, the best television show not on TV. Shout out to Cardinal Rule one time in the building. He says, thanks, man. The graphics department put in some work for that background picture. Shout out to Cardinal Rule, y'all. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the Cardinal Rule. Show him some love over there while he's building up his channel. He's got a great channel over there focused around the Arizona Cardinals, man. We appreciate everybody pulling up tonight, man. Real fun show. Nate Talks Football says he got signed before I was born. That's facts, bro. Nate Talks Football was born in like what, 2000, 2003? I want to say maybe 2004, something like that. Overreaction. LeVar Arrington was the biggest free agent Giant bust of all time. That's a good one, Kevin. We got to have some bigger free agent busts than that, right?
Hey, Kenny
5
Galladay.
games, though.
Kenny Galladay. I mean, we're still a
Kenny
little
Galladay's
early.
put up some better numbers than your boy LeVar Arrington. He only played in
Kenny
5 games.
Kenny Galladay, though. went from leading the league in touchdowns, like you said, right? And
In 2019, don't get it twisted.
2019, okay. All right.
You said okay. I'd say LeVar Arrington. No, I'm going LeVar Arrington over Kenny Galladay. Just trying to think about any others.
Kurt Warner?
Kurt Warner could be one.
But then he went to Arizona and ended up being. Oh, that's it right there, Lucas. That's got to be it.
See, that let me know though. You be looking at the chat.
No, what do you mean?
Who did Lucas say here? Nate Solder. Big entire facts right there. Nate Solder. It's got to be Nate Solder. Yeah, big time. We got to go with Nate Solder on that one. Shout out Lax 044 and Lucas bringing that to our attention. Yeah, definitely Nate Solder. Yeah, that's facts. So we can put the Kenny Galladay and the LeVar Arrington stuff to bed.
You're good, Kenny.
Zachary said Ogletree too, but I think Alex Ogletree actually did pretty decent. He had a couple interceptions there. I remember like one year Jack Rabbit would like tip interceptions right into Ogletree's palms every time, man. But I got to go Nate Solder on that one, 1,000%, man. But let me see. Let me just zoom this out just a little bit. Damn. Yo, we definitely appreciate all of y'all rocking with us, man. This whole entire season. This is the last week preview that you're going to have the New York Giants and the Washington football team be here. Any last words from you, The Beard, about the Washington football team season before we get up out of here on this show, man? We've been running for 2 hours and 16 minutes. That's pretty decent considering we did trivia and some over-unders here. But any last thoughts on the Washington football team or the New York Giants, for that matter, entering this last game on Sunday?
I think the biggest thing that I learned, this season is it's not necessarily like the hype beast, right? But it is in a way. It is. I think that, and it wasn't like normal fans, like, oh, we're winning the Super Bowl, right? But I think we really, really, really got caught up in the way that our defenses performed at the end of last year without really looking at why they performed that way, because it just made sense. And I think that we both thought, based on that performance last year and all of the free agent acquisitions and draft picks that we made this year, that we both realistically thought, and not like in a crazy fan way, but realistically thought our teams were going to be really good. Not necessarily Super Bowl good, obviously, but better than what we are right now. And I think that sometimes you got to be careful of what you see on the paper, and you gotta wait for things to kind of evolve. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I learned this year when it comes to evaluating talent on my own football team.
I'm right there with you on that. The defensive rankings from last season, y'all were up in the top 3, I believe. Giants in the top 10. We both thought that these were going to be two teams that were going to rely on their defense, run the ball, decent quarterback play. Definitely didn't get that this season. I'll tell you what I learned this season and from last offseason. I learned that when you have a glaring problem in one position, you don't overreact and go out there and double and triple dip. Because even then, the Giants went out there and drafted wide receiver. We went out there and signed the biggest free agent at the wide receiver position. We brought in a couple of wide receivers. We brought in John Ross. We brought in Kyle Rudolph. And everybody thought we were kind of like overstacked at the positions for wide receiver and for tight end. And you look at it now, last week, Kenny Galladay was the only starting wide receiver to dress. And the Giants have eclipsed the Tennessee Titans as far as the most injuries this year and how many games have been missed by players that have been injured. I want to say it was 301 combined games missed for the New York Giants. Games missed by players by injury. The Tennessee Titans were just one behind at 300. So injuries definitely played a part. We knew that injuries could play a part. If you knew anything about that 2017 season, you knew that. But I definitely learned that this season. Don't overreact to a glaring problem. Just try to address it and move forward. A football team is made up of 11 positions on each side of the ball. So you got to address everything, and you got to build a good team. And I think it starts from the head coach. And a lot of faith lost in Joe Judge this season. At the end of last season, I was thinking, man, maybe we got our coach. I think we got our guy. I've said it on multiple streams. I thought we had our guy. And now I'm feeling a little bit more like the Giants should go ahead and just fire Joe Judge. Let me see this one. Rachel the Great says, Authentic, who would you like to see coach this team next season? Hopefully, if Judge is gone. I'm going to go Harbaugh right off the bat. I want proven experience. And I got to go with my gut. I allowed the fan base and a lot of other Giants content creators to kind of get me off of that experienced head coach vibe. Going into, what was that, 2020, I was looking to bring in Mike McCarthy just off the experience factor. I feel like, even though Mike McCarthy is not the kind of coach that, X's and O's is his forte and his one of his highlights of what he can do as a coach, not a lot of bad is going to go down under Mike McCarthy's watch. So that's what I think as far as the head coach goes. I would love to bring in Harbaugh, man. 4 winning seasons. Well, it was 3 winning seasons, 1 season at 500 at 8-8 before he left the San Francisco 49ers. And he rebuilt that program from 6-10 the year before he got there. I think that was 2012, possibly, before he got there. So Harbaugh sounds fantastic to me. I like the fact that he was an ex-football player as well. I think all those things lend well to Harbaugh, but we never know. He might stay at Michigan, might not even want to come and coach in the NFL. And Max044 says McCarthy is terrible at time management. And yeah, that's true. But I just feel like, when you either win or you don't win. Mike McCarthy's been a guy that wins. That's how I look at it. And I think Harbaugh's the same kind of guy. And Old Man Rob says, bring in the Wolverine, please. I definitely feel that. We'll see. We got a long off season here. Make sure y'all stay tuned throughout the playoffs. We're gonna try to bring a different vibe during the playoffs, kind of like what we did today, to keep things really fun, especially for both of our teams here who are not going to be in the playoffs. And also for the content creators out there and anybody who wants to get on camera, we're going to be doing a Family Feud special edition of Authentic and the Beard. Family Giants versus Family Washington, or Defenders, or whatever y'all are going to be. And I'll be doing some recruiting. So we're going to have a 5-man team that's going to represent Authentic and the New York Giants. And we'll have a 5-man team that'll represent the Beard and the Washington football team. And we're going to be going head-to-head in a Family Feud challenge. So stay tuned for that one. We're going to either try to squeeze that one in right before the playoffs or possibly right before the Super Bowl. But the recruiting process begins now. So if you want to be a part of the Authentic and the Beard Family Feud experience, make sure to hit me up on Twitter, or make sure to hit up the Beard on Twitter in the DMs, or just add us. Tell us, you want to be a part of it. Make sure you got good internet connection. Make sure you, good mics is not a thing. You can just pull up with your headphones and, regular setup on your phone or on a laptop. None of that matters. Me and the Beard are going to host the show, so we're going to do our best impersonation of Steve Harvey. And maybe a little bit of ESPN Ocho vibes. We'll see how that goes, Cotton. And we'll face off our New York Giants versus the Bears Washington football team. That one should be really fun. And make sure y'all just stay tuned throughout the playoffs. Like I said, we're gonna have a lot of different content and a lot of just different format for the show moving forward throughout these playoffs, so we can end the season on a good note and prepare for this off season. And we'll be bringing y'all some off season content this year as well too. Definitely missed y'all in the 2021 break, when we took that break from February all the way to August. So, yeah, y'all know what it is, man. All the day ones in the building. And like I said, anybody that wants to pull up and be a part of those, the Family Feud, just make sure to hit us up. I see the Cardinal Rules already saying some stuff. He says only for fans, creators associated with those teams. If you want to join us, Cardinal Rule, let me know, man. We'll definitely welcome you for sure, bro. It's nothing. So anybody who wants to pull up and, join the Family Feud vibes, they are going to be a little bit more catered towards the NFC East. So keep that in mind, man. Beard, any last words before we send them off here, man?
No, man. I listen, don't forget, we are live Sunday morning, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the parlay. Hopefully, once we get into these playoffs, we're going to start doing a little bit more of lineup building for DraftKings, so it should be kind of fun doing that on the parlay as well. And look, just because Washington and the Giants both stink, listen, Authentic says it the best, man. Bad Giants football is better than no Giants football. So
I'm gonna miss it.
This is kind of like, it's a big deal for us. This is Washington and Giants. This is Authentic and Beard. This is left side. This is strong side. So we're we get 2 of these a year, and this is the last one. It just so happens to be in the last week of the season. So, I don't take any of that for granted. And I listen, even when your team's not in the playoffs, there is nothing like playoff football. And playoff football starts this weekend. There are a couple of teams that, it win and they are in. So I'm looking forward to some of those games. Sunday Night Football should be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, Chargers,
Chargers
Raiders.
and Raiders. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that, and just big shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Like I said, we couldn't do this without you guys. Tonight, when Awthentik hit me up and he was like, "Man, I think we're gonna spice things up a little bit," I was like, "Man, I love it." I didn't say nothing else. I just said I love it because you know what I'm saying. Like, get everybody in the chat interactive with us, man, and we appreciate all the love, guys, for sure.
Yeah, y'all know what it is, man. Let's get some biceps in the chat before we get up out of here, man. This has been a really fun show, man. Some light vibes. I definitely dug it. Next time we got to find a way for me to play somehow into this the trivia time, especially. I love the who am I vibes, given the just statistics and accolades on one player and then trying to guess the player. I was almost forgetting who I picked as the player until I looked at the answers in the chat, man. So definitely looking forward to this Family Feud game. I think that's going to be a really fun time, man. But again, we appreciate all of y'all, man, pulling up week in and week out. We've been doing this 4 times a week. Pretty much to a crowd of regulars now, a crowd of the day ones. Y'all been just supporting us throughout this 2021 season. It's been really fun. I looked at all our videos from this season, man, and I think this is our 68th video of the year, man. So salute to you, The Beard, for your consistency, man, showing up, battling through the whole COVID thing last week and pulling up on the parlay on Saturday really means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to all the fam in the chat, man. To have you back on the panel with us here at Awthentik and The Beard, man. You know what it is, man. How I'm gonna have a left side without my strong side? I mean, it's just no way to do it, man. Again, though, I saw a couple of new faces. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, man, and join us every week, man. We're Mondays, we do the Giant Overreaction. Tuesdays, we do our recaps. And Thursdays, we do our previews. And then Sunday, we do the parlay. We talk fantasy football, betting, and DraftKings vibes, man. I'm looking forward to seeing your lineup this week for the parlay. We'll see if we can cash out, possibly. I got a portion of our fantasy football payment, I think. I got to go back and double check and see if they sent the rest. But I will have some money coming your way. Mr. Beard, man, I appreciate you for everything you've done with us through 18 weeks of Awthentik and The Beard, man. This has been really fun. Y'all stay tuned for these playoffs. These playoffs going to be fire, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Before we get up out of here one more time. Oh, we got a super chat. We got a
day one. Big shout out to the homie Anthony Bluegrass Picker for the $5 super chat. Says lurking and listing on eBay. Get that money. Shout out to the homie Bluegrass Picker. Appreciate you as always, my man. Oh, if anybody's into Marvel trading cards, I will be live tomorrow night on the Whatnot app. You can follow me at Over the Years. You can also watch on your computer now. I will be auctioning off vintage 1990s X-Men, all Marvel cards. So everything's going to start at $1, so it should be a fun time. So shout out to everybody in the chat.
That's fire, man. Again, man, y'all know what it is, man. We appreciate y'all pulling up every day, every week. Y'all are the day ones of Awthentik and The Beard, man. We're going to be doing this for a long time. You know what it is. That's my brother, left side, strong side in the building. Keep raising that bar, y'all, and keep living those dreams. We will see y'all on Sunday for the parlay. Y'all be good. Enjoy y'all football on Saturday. Peace.